Believe it or not, folks, the National League Championship Series has been around for only a quarter of a century. And in that time, it's the comebacks we will cherish.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. Stewart win the pennant.
Pitch on the way to Garvey. Hit high to right center field. Way back. Going. It is gone. The Padres win it.
Swinging a long one into left field. Adios. Goodbye. A three-run homer by Clark.
Line drive and a base hit. Justice has scored the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
In 1993, if you were one of those who counted the Braves out at the All-Star break or thought the Phillies would fold down the stretch, you may still be thinking about the outcome.
A home run for the Crockers. And the Phillies have won it 14-4-3.
Back toward the wall. It is a home run. It's a home run. It just homered off the top of the wall. The Braves win. Ron Kent has done it again.
Funny thing about baseball in October, there always seems to be room for even more drama. And who do you think will provide it tonight? So welcome to the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, PA, and Veteran Stadium, where the once beleaguered Phillies have become the beloved Phillies. The fans here have witnessed their Phillies travel from worst to first in the driver's seat all season long, and they're smiling. This is a blue-collar town. They work here, and nobody appreciates the blood, sweat, and tears of Kruk, Dalton, Dykstra, and company more than the folks here. Hard work pays off, and oh, lest you forget, they know this in Atlanta as well. So welcome to the National League Championship Series, Game 1 between those Philadelphia Phillies and the hard-charging Atlanta Braves. And hi, good everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Welcome to CBS Sports, continuing coverage of the baseball playoffs. This is where you want to be till the final out of the World Series. Even though the League Championship Series is underway, we would be kidding ourselves if we didn't tell you that the big story today continues to be Michael Jordan. As it turns out, last night when he threw out that ceremonial pitch in Chicago, could very well have been his final athletic appearance in Chicago. Today, Michael said goodbye with dignity, on top of his game. It's been the talk of the sports world, including here, and here's some reaction.
Oh man, that was a shock to the world. That was almost as, surprised as the time, Magic announced he was tested HIV positive. That was a shocker.
And I know that I'm going to miss watching him play basketball because I don't think there was a better player in the world ever. So, like I said, he's got to live by his decision. He thinks it's the right thing to do for his family. So, God bless him.
I'm kind of sorry to see him go. I enjoyed watching him play, and I just wish him the best, and hope everything turns out great for him.
We're spoiled. We'll miss him. On to baseball. Over in the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays took a huge lead over Chicago, going up 2-0, headed to Sky Dome. Here's how it went this afternoon. Top of the fourth, 2 outs. Paul Molitor hits a ground rule double down the right field line to start a Blue Jay 2-run rally. What a series Molitor has had. 2 for 4 today and a run scored. Later in the inning, Pat Borders hits this ground ball up the middle. Joey Cora attempts to make the play. He's charged with an error on the throw, and Tony Fernandez scores to give the Blue Jays a 3-1 lead. Bottom of the 6th, the White Sox load the bases, but after 2 pop-outs, Stewart gets pinch hitter Warren Newson on the comebacker, ending the rally. And after the game, our Jim Gray caught up with Dave Stewart.
When you get in a situation with the bases loaded and no outs, really what you have is a hope and a prayer, to be honest. Your adrenaline picks up, and when your adrenaline picks up, your concentration level gets a little bit better, and you make your pitches, and if you make your pitches, you get out of it.
Been making those pitches, 7-0 undefeated in the playoffs. Well, it's a beautiful night here in Philadelphia. 66 degrees right now. May get down into the 40s, but we think you'll be warmed by the call of Sean McDonough and Tim McCarver. The Big Macs will be back after a word from your very own local station. Game 1, folks, of the National League Championship Series. Enjoy it, everybody.
Yo, America, tonight during the game, keep a peel for my brand new show. Your new show. It's my new show.
No, it's our new show. South of Sunset, 3 weeks from tonight on CBS. Men.
This is CBS.
I know. Say we didn't get the package.
Martha!
Tom! Did you get our package?
Gee, it never got here.
Really?
Introducing tracking software from Federal Express.
It was delivered to your place at 9:22 a.m.
Ah! Probably stuck in the mailroom.
No, it was signed for by your partner, Brian.
Now you can track packages right from your computer on your desk.
Brian, are you there?
Oh, that package, Martha. We can negotiate a deal.
Who are South Florida's action heroes? Everyone working to rebuild. Everyone teaching kids to stay off drugs. Everyone helping to feed the homeless is an action hero. We're proud of them and of our action heroes at 6 Action News, like Al Sunshine, protecting you from scams and ripoffs. Bob Soper, helping thousands in the community. And Dr. Steve Greenberg, dedicated to keeping you healthy and fit. Action heroes on 6 Action News, taking action for you.
There's a lot of great things about Builder Square, but you know what I like best?
Too busy? We can install.
Help finds you, not the other way around.
Comes in 8 styles.
Computer match any color.
Need any help?
Nah.
Builder Square, the warehouse with everything for your house. An alien traitor on Star Trek: The Next Generation. Tomorrow at 7.
Tonight, baseball's postseason returns to Philadelphia for the first time in 10 years as the Phillies host the Atlanta Braves in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bet. I'm Sean McDonough along with Tim McCarver, and it's great to have you with us. These two teams traveled different paths to get to the postseason. Philadelphia was in first place for all but one day of the '93 season. The Phillies won 97 games. The Braves won 104, but they had to go right down to the final day to win the Battle of the West from San Francisco. And despite the numbers, Atlanta is a big favorite.
Well, when you win that many games, that means you lead a lot of departments, too. The Atlanta Braves, for instance, a pitching powerhouse. They were first in the National League in earned run average, first in shutouts, first in allowing the fewest home runs, and second to the Philadelphia Phillies, incidentally, in complete games. The Phillies, on the other hand, an offensive powerhouse. First in runs scored, on-base percentage and walks, and second in batting average. But don't be deceived by the fact that the Atlanta Braves have to pitch well to win, because they can outslug you too, and that's why they're favored. I think if the Philadelphia Phillies win this series, they're going to have to outscore the Atlanta Braves, win 11-7 games, 8-5 games of that nature, because they're not going to win the low-scoring games.
The pitching matchup tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies, 26-year-old right-hander Curt Schilling making his first postseason start. He'll be opposed by still 23-year-old Steve Avery. The first pitch right after this.
CBS Sports coverage of Game 1 of the 1993 National League Championship Series is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. Compaq Computer Corporation. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
They say Mozart composed from midnight to 7 a.m. Hemingway was at his best before noon. Edison, inspired by the dark. At Compaq, we understand that ideas aren't governed by a clock. That's why we're standing by 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to answer your computing questions. Galileo, definitely a night person. The 24-hour helpline from Compaq.
Good morning, Wendy's. Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich. You wanted that?
Hi, Gladys.
Your phone's been ringing off the hook.
What's this? Monterey Ranch. Monterey Ranch, Monterey Ranch, Monterey.
I'm sorry I asked. We got the hint, so it's back. Creamy ranch dressing with real bacon and Monterey Jack cheese on a whole breast filet.
Where you going, buddy?
Inside, I'm Dave Thomas.
Right, and I'm the Queen of France. Back in the line.
Come try Wendy's Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich, but come early.
Peanuts are sometimes called goobers. So are people who pay too much for their flights.
Don't be a goober. Fly for peanuts on Continental.
Barbara Sloan and Stan Miller report 6 Action News tonight.
Fred's my AT&T sales rep.
The country gives me the creeps, but I came out here to tell Jan about AT&T's Maximum Advantage.
Everything about it is simple, except running it.
Maximum Advantage doesn't work for you. You're automatically enrolled. You get AT&T's best service at our lowest price guaranteed. We'll look at your calling patterns quarterly and make new recommendations. Jan, with our international fax and calling plans for our 800 service, you could be hosting the whole world that you're in.
Hi.
We're the Raskins.
Ah, welcome.
Fred really knows my business. I'm sure I could get him up here full time.
What tire do you trust in the wet? A tire that removes over 2 gallons of water per second from under the tread. The all-season MX-4. Another engineering splash from Michelin.
The starting lineup for Bobby Cox and the Atlanta Braves. Otis Nixon leads off in center field. Batting second, the shortstop Jeff Blauser. Ron Gant in left field hits third. The cleanup hitter is first baseman Fred McGriff. David Justice in right field bats fifth. Batting sixth, the third baseman Terry Pendleton. Damon Berryhill is the catcher, batting seventh. Batting eighth, the second baseman Mark Lemke. And the pitcher Steve Avery bats ninth.
Curt Schilling is 0-2 before the 1993 season against the Braves. He is 2-3 lifetime. This is his 15th appearance. He has started against Atlanta 7 times. Curt Schilling, a bit of a surprise as the starter over Tommy Green, but both managers, Bobby Cox and Jim Fregosi, both agree that Otis Nixon, Lenny Dykstra, the 2 keys in these lineups.
And the first pitch of the National League Championship Series, a ball low from Curt Schilling. To Otis Nixon, you saw his numbers. A .269 average, a home run, 24 runs driven in. Ball 2 outside. Bruce Fremming is calling the balls and strikes. Frank Pulley at first. Terry Tata at second. Jim Quick at third. Jerry Crawford along the left field line, and Joe West, not a Philadelphia favorite, in right. Fastball in for a strike, 2-1. Both managers agree the leadoff men are key in this series. Otis Nixon and Lenny Dykstra. Curt Schilling said yesterday the key to facing the Atlanta lineup is to prevent the middle of the order, Gant, Justice, McGriff, and Pendleton, from having RBI opportunities, and the only way to do that is to keep Nixon and Jeff Blauser off base. The 2-2 pitch. He struck him out.
The defense for the Philadelphia Phillies. Pete Incaviglia in left, Lenny Dykstra in center field, Wes Chamberlain with the best arm in right. Dave Holland, speaking of arms, has one of the finer arms in the National League. Kevin Stocker, the youngster, at short. Mariano Duncan at second. John Kruk at first. And Darren Dalton, the real leader of this club, behind the plate.
And Jeff Blauser, the batter. He looked at strike one. Blauser, an all-star in 1993. He hit .305, 15 home runs, 73 knocked in. And Schilling is quickly ahead of him, 0-2. As Pat O'Brien told you, it is a very pleasant night here in the city of brotherly love. Game time temperature 66 degrees. Wind blowing out at 13 miles per hour. They expect similarly pleasant conditions, if not even warmer, tomorrow night for Game 2. Blauser gone on 3 pitches. He fouled tip, strike 3 into the mitt of Darren Dalton.
It is obviously so important to set the tone for this series, and a bit of a surprise that Curt Schilling, after falling behind to Otis Nixon, has thrown 6 straight strikes. Pretty positive tone for the Phillies.
So a great start in his first postseason start for Schilling, and now he's looking in at Ron Gant, who hit .274 during the regular season with 36 homers and 117 knocked in. Gant was 5th in the league in home runs, 3rd in runs batted in. Fouled straight back into the sellout crowd of better than 60,000. 1 ball and 1 strike. Schilling's a big guy at 6'4", 215 pounds. Born in Anchorage, Alaska, grew up in Arizona, and now makes his home in the Philadelphia suburbs in New Jersey. Little pop-up near the Phillies dugout. And a couple of rows deep. Nice tumbling catch. Made by a fan in a red sweater. And he held on. Get that guy to come out of his shell, he'd probably be a lot more fun for the folks sitting around him. But he has incited the crowd. Now they want to strike out of the side of the first. And Schilling missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gant.
There was concern in the camp of the Braves camp yesterday when Ron Gant injured his left side. A little soreness. Actually, Bobby Cox telling us that it happened on the bus going from the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium to the Atlanta airport, and the plane trip here. But he told Pat O'Brien before the game his back was fine.
Wow. Dalton couldn't handle the 2-2 pitch. Would have been close had he been able to squeeze it. Called ball 3 and the count is full. Bobby Cox has his Braves in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. They've won the National League pennant the last 2 years. They've yet to win the World Series, and the Braves to a man say this season won't be deemed a success unless they win it all. Still a full count on Gant.
David Justice and Ron Gant before July 20th. That was the date that Fred McGriff was acquired. Look at their numbers and look at them after July 20th when the Braves got Fred McGriff.
McGriff made a huge difference, and Schilling strikes out the side in the first.
Someone very special is on that train. That's why you're driving a Buick LeSabre. You love its powerful V6 engine, anti-lock brakes, and steel safety cage body unit. But you bought LeSabre for the dual airbags. One for you and one for that very special person who sits next to you. LeSabre from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Go ahead, make a wish. Then share it with your Allstate agent, who knows planning makes wishes come true, and who can outline a life insurance plan to assure family security and college funding and a comfy retirement are in the stars for you. So make your wish and trust it to your Allstate agent, who wants to be your agent for life.
Coming over the hill, Sarge.
Hit the lights, boys!
Bigfoot!
2 square feet of pizza and a tasty new crust, all for $10.99. Bigfoot Pizza, the biggest pizza you can get delivered.
Jell-O gelatin's just 12 cents a serving. That's 4 cents for the giggles, 4 cents for the improved motor skills, and 4 cents for creativity.
I know Jell-O.
Whatever your budget, there's always room for Jell-O.
South of Sunset in 3 weeks, starring Ari Spears.
I feel good. Hey, ha! I thought I was the star. Yeah, right.
They're 2 private eyes who go where the action is.
Like I was saying, during the game tonight, we're going to be bringing you a preview of my new show.
South of Sunset, 3 weeks from tonight on CBS.
Wow!
Give me strength.
The lineup for Jim Fragosi's Phillies. Lenny Dykstra leads off in center field. Batting second, the second baseman, Mariano Duncan. John Kruk at first base bats third. David Hollins is the cleanup hitter and third baseman. Darren Dalton, the catcher, bats fifth. Pete Incaviglia in left field hitting sixth. The right fielder, Wes Chamberlain, bats seventh. Kevin Stalker, the shortstop, hits eighth. And the pitcher, Curt Schilling, bats ninth against Steve Avery.
Curt Schilling striking out the side of the Braves in the first inning. The last guy to do it in postseason play was Steve Avery in Game 6 of the 1991 National League Championship Series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Part of that Fab Four. Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz, and Avery.
And his first pitch of the night to Lenny Dykstra is a called strike. Saw the numbers for Lenny, a .305 average. .433 his on-base percentage when leading off an inning. That led the league. He was the league leader in a number of categories. Over by the stands goes Gant. It's into the stands for a foul ball and strike 2. Dykstra led the league in hits, in runs scored. He was second in doubles, led the league in walks, was third in on-base percentage. And here in Philadelphia, they maintain that he should be the most valuable player in the National League.
Now, with the recovery that Barry Bonds had with the Giants, I don't think there's any chance of anybody other than Barry Bonds being the MVP in the National League.
We got to look at one other number that would support the candidacy of Lenny Dykstra for the most valuable player award. 19 leadoff homers. Fastball high, 1 and 2.
There are very few major league hitters who are undeterred with the pitch count, and Lenny Dykstra is one of them. Pete Rose was another one, but very few guys that I have seen. It doesn't matter whether it's 0-2 or 2-0 to Dykstra.
Broken bat, but it's heading for the gap in left center. Nixon racing to cut it off. He gets to it on the warning track. At least 2 for Dykstra, and he'll stop there with a leadoff double.
In order to be a good 2-strike hitter, you have to protect the outside part of the plate, and that's what Dykstra does. Breaking ball from Avery, and Dykstra pokes it to left center. You can see Nixon in the background playing Lenny slightly to pull with 2 strikes.
He had 44 doubles during the regular season, one behind the league leader Charlie Hayes of Colorado. Now the second baseman Mariano Duncan. He turned a bunt and popped it up. Well, you've been talking over the weekend about the Philadelphia Phillies and their need to play the style of baseball that got them into the postseason. Jim Fregosi calls it power ball. They don't bunt a lot, they don't hit and run a lot, but here they are playing rather conservatively in the bottom of the first.
That's what Jim told us before the game. We don't hit and run, we don't sacrifice, and here the first opportunity to sacrifice, he tries it with a guy with a .300 batting average lifetime against left-handers.
There's a base hit. Dykstra had to hold up to see if Lemke would catch it, and he'll stop at third with nobody out.
What happens, Sean, is some of the more experienced hitters want the other team to think that they're sacrificing. That's why they'll give it one shot. And Duncan did that. He pulled the corners in, McGriff and Pendleton. Avery threw a fastball, and Duncan spanks it to center.
In the process of drawing those fielders in, though, he very nearly made an out on the popped-up bunt.
That's true.
First and third, nobody out. No score in the bottom of the first. Dykstra confers with third base coach Larry Boa. Now John Kruk, who finished the regular season hitting .316. That was 8th in the National League. Strike 1 on Kruk, who slumped toward the end of the regular season. He said it was because Jim Fregosi made him get rid of his pine tar covered helmet and clean it up. He picked it up toward the end of the regular season. That's probably because the pine tar is back.
Well, you would think that with the first game of the National League Championship Series, he would put a coat of paint on that bill, but coats of paint are not the styles of the Philadelphia Phillies. Call them a blue-collar crew, and they're all of that.
Are there any rules about pine tar on helmets?
I don't think so.
You're referring to
Brett. You're referring to Brett's pine tar incident.
Chopped to second, a double play ball. High throw, but Blauser came down with it, but that threw off the play. Kruk safe at first, and the Phillies lead 1-0. Dykstra in from third as Kruk reached on a fielder's choice. Ordinarily, the Braves eat that double play ball up, but they were a little bit out of sync. And the Phils have a base runner.
Watch the throw high to the center field side. Duncan isn't even attempting to take Blauser out, but that high throw, you're right, Sean, that upset the rhythm of the play, and Kruk beats the throw. That gives him an RBI, and the Phillies a lead.
Had they return the double play. Kruk would not have been credited with an RBI. Kruk at first with one out. 1-0 Philadelphia. Dave Hollins took a breaking ball for strike one. He's a switch hitter, a much better hitter right-handed, to the point where there's been talk about him hitting right-handed exclusively here in Philadelphia. The ball outside, 1-1. Hollins posted those impressive numbers you saw despite missing 18 days back in June with a broken bone in his hand. Down to third, another double play ball. And this time they turn it 5-4-3, and that ends the inning. Avery surrenders a run on 2 hits after 1-0 Philadelphia.
Bud Light, please.
Tonight's ladies' night, and there's a special on Bud Light.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Oh, no, it's Ted from accounting.
Andre and Michelle, 2 Europeans, are going to tour America and sample the best the new world offers. They'll drive the Buick Park Avenue Ultra, a car with some features they've never seen on European models, with a supercharged engine that can quench even a European's thirst for assertive power. They'll see America in the world's most aptly named car, Ultra from Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
Movie Jam.
I love this place.
It's not a party without the new Burger King Everyday Value Menu.
Don't you have any refreshments around here?
The Value Menu has tasty flame-broiled burgers fixed your way for just 99 cents. Anything you want? Almost. Like, can you get with a $1.99 per sandwich combo? No problem. And a Whopper Value Meal for only $2.99 every day. You know who we're doing it for. For me. Check your Burger King Value Menu for their everyday low prices.
We all gonna shoot over to Burger King.
Burger King?
Try the new Everyday Value Menu.
Just the jam.
If this reminds you of the productivity in your office, get the copiers Buyers Lab gave their highest rating for uptime. Meta. And get productive.
Of all the credit cards out there, only one has Smart Rate, now as low as 14.9%, and no annual fee. Discover Card. It's a better deal. It pays to discover.
Tonight, Candace Bergen joins Dave.
It went on and on and on.
Plus,
there's not a man, woman, or child alive today who can hit my slider.
Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Phillies lead 1-0 after an inning. Fred McGriff leads off for Atlanta as we go to the second. Schilling's first pitch of the inning. Swung through and missed for strike one. McGriff hit .291, including his time with San Diego. He hit .310 after joining the Atlanta Braves. 19 of his 37 home runs came for Atlanta.
Check this graphic out. Carl Hubble, Sandy Koufax in '63, Nolan Ryan in '79. And now Curt Schilling tonight, the only 4 pitchers to strike out the first 3 batters of the ball game in the first postseason meeting. Pretty nice company.
And a great way to start his first postseason game ever. The 1-2 to McGriff. That's 4 strikeouts to open the ball game for Curt Schilling.
Well, the Braves expecting a Schilling shelling, but so far they have come up empty. 4 straight strikeouts for Curt Schilling. The fastball on the outside corner, a little movement on the outside part of the plate. but the Braves keep sending up one heavy gun after another.
And the next is David Justice, who hit .270 with 40 home runs, second in the league behind Barry Bonds' 46, and 120 runs batted in, 3 fewer than the league leader Bonds.
We mentioned Otis Nixon, the real catalyst to this lineup, but I think Curt Schilling will have more problems with David Justice than any other Brave hitter. He has 2 home runs against him this year.
Schilling 1 strike away from his 5th straight strikeout to open the ball game. No pitcher has ever started a league championship series game in either league with 5 straight strikeouts. The 1-2. Check swing and a ball high. He appealed down to third, and Jim Quick said it was not a swing. 2-2. 4 strikeouts to start a league championship series game ties the record, shared by John Candelaria and Nolan Ryan. There's number 5. A league championship series record, 5 straight strikeouts to open the ball game for Curt Schilling.
Justice thought it was outside. Dalton is sitting outside, and usually if a pitcher hits a catcher's glove, whether it's outside or not, they get the pitch. But it did look like it was outside several inches.
Johnny Padres, the pitching coach for Philadelphia. Curt Schilling says he is the Phillies MVP. The young Philadelphia pitching staff, many of them have improved mightily under the tutelage of Padres, specifically Curt Schilling.
Schilling with 186 strikeouts this year. He averages about 7 strikeouts per 9 innings.
He was 4th in the league with 186 Ks. Pendleton fouled it off. 0-2 the count. They're on their feet at the vet. The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball low and away.
Terry Pendleton's 50th postseason game.
Out of play and left. And you got the sense when that ball was hit, hearing the breath go out of the crowd, they don't want just a fly ball for an out now. They want to see the 6th straight strikeout to open the game from Schilling. Another 1-2 pitch. On the ground to short. Nice play by Stocker. And that ends the inning. After an inning and a half at Veterans Stadium, the Phillies lead 1-0.
He packs heavy. She packs light. She wears silk. He wears wool. He's comfortable at 68 degrees. She prefers 72. Good thing they own a Buick Park Avenue with available dual-zone climate control. 72 for her, 68 for him. Too bad everything isn't as accommodating as Park Avenue. From Buick, the new symbol for quality in America.
The average ice cube can't taste the difference between Diet Dr. Pepper and regular Dr. Pepper. But the amazing thing is, you probably can't either. Discover what millions already have. The great taste of Diet Dr. Pepper.
DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. It's easy to make it happen.
Dear Midas customers, we don't want your family riding around on bad brakes. That's why we'll fix the brakes on most cars the same day you bring it in.
You're unbelievable.
The Phillies are the 93 National League Eastern Division champions.
You're so unbelievable.
The Atlanta Braves win it. This season is over.
You're unbelievable.
A message from Major League Baseball.
Curt Schilling has opened the ball game with 2 perfect innings, and the proudest mother in Philadelphia is Mary Jo Schilling. You see the empty seat to her right. In every game that Curt Schilling has started as a major leaguer since 1988, he has left a pass for his dad, who passed away during spring training of 1988, just before Curt made it to the major leagues for the first time with the Baltimore Orioles. And that empty seat is there again tonight in memory of Cliff Schilling. Curt says there's no way he would be a major leaguer. More impressively, he told us yesterday, there's no way I would be the kind of person that I am were it not for my dad. Aaron Dalton, the leadoff hitter. The Phillies lead 1-0 as they bat in the second. Dalton and Cavilla and Chamberlain to face Steve Avery. As we mentioned at the outset, is just 23 years old. That seems hard to believe, as familiar as his face has become in the postseason. But tonight is his 9th postseason start.
He is 3-1 in League Championship Series play, 0-1 in World Series play. 54 pitchers during the 93 season.
There's a pop-up for Terry Pendleton. 1 out.
54 pitchers had 20 starts or more, and Steve Avery is still the youngest of those 54. Just forget how much success this young man had at such an early age.
That's among National League pitchers. Pete Incaviglia, the batter. He posted the numbers you see as a platoon player this year. Incaviglia only appeared in 116 ball games. Drove in 89 runs in those 116.
Talk about production, 101 hits and 89 RBIs. His 4th team in 4 years.
And he admitted yesterday when we chatted with him that when the Detroit Tigers let him go a couple of years ago, he thought that might be it for Pete Incaviglia as a major league player. He had to sign last year with the Houston Astros as a minor leaguer. Earned a spot on their major league team in spring training. And came to the Phillies in the offseason. Wes Chamberlain is on deck. We're in the second. The Phillies lead 1-0. They scored a run on 2 hits in the first. To drive home the point about how young Steve Avery is, I think we both agree Mike Piazza and Tim Salmon are likely to be the 2 rookies of the year this year. They're both older than Steve Avery. Good change of speeds, and Incaviglia swung and missed. The count is full.
Avery will come inside to right-handed batters occasionally, but for the most part, his slot is away to right-handers. Tom Glavine is a similar pitcher, even though Glavine uses more guile in going to the outside part of the plate to right-handers, whereas Avery uses more power. And there's Tommy Glavine. He will be Saturday's starter.
When the scene shifts to Atlanta, Incaviglia with a high drive to deep left center, but Otis Nixon has room. 2 away.
That's the one thing that Steve Avery has added to his arsenal this year is a changeup, and he throws it in any count. And when you can throw 3-2 changeups in spots like that, you're going to get those big, strong power hitters out of there. just off the sweet part of the bat.
Now Wes Chamberlain, who split time in right field this year with Jim Eisenreich. Line drive, base hit over the glove of McGriff, and it scoots on the turf all the way to the wall. Chamberlain on his way to second, and he has a 2-out double.
Wes Chamberlain only had 13 hits to right field this year. He hammers this ball over the glove of the leaping McGriff for the 2-out double. He had 20 during the season. Pretty good pitch. He didn't try to pull it. Good call. I love how you do that.
I knew you wanted to hear it again. Kevin Stalker is the batter with first base open. They'll pitch around him to get to the pitcher, Curt Schilling. An intentional walk to Stalker. They'll take their chances with Schilling, who had 147 during the regular season. This is the first walk issued by either pitcher. Already agonizing is Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach.
Well, what that 2-out double does, it forces you to walk Stalker, who's a good right-handed hitter. He's a switch hitter, but good from the right side. And now, at the very least, you clear Schilling so Dykstra can lead off the third.
Imagine what Leo would look like if he was the pitching coach for the worst staff in baseball instead of the best. Now Schilling, who was 11 for 75 during the regular season with no homers. He knocked in 2. Little dribbler down to first. McGriff fields the fair ball and wins the race to the base. The Phillies strand 2. After 2, 1-0 Philadelphia.
At Mutual of Omaha, we understand that nurturing and protecting come naturally. So it's only natural that you want to provide for your family, even if your ability to provide is taken away. Mutual of Omaha, disability insurance to protect your changing world.
Cold filtered, Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
But now I'm a man, way past 21.
Yeah, this is nice. Like the seats. Lots of room, that's good. Whoa, lots of room back there, too. Right, smooth. Real smooth. Ah, they must have fixed this road.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Even when it's just barely a road at all.
South of Sunset premieres in 3 weeks, starring Glenn Frey.
Ooh, hubba hubba.
Glenn Frey.
You say Frey?
Glenn Frey, like rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
It's the all-singing, all-dancing private eye show for the 90s.
South of Sunset, greatest pair of detectives since...
Abbott and Costello.
What?
No, don't do that.
CBS Sports coverage of Game 1 of the 1993 National League Championship Series is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers. And by the Mutual of Omaha Companies.
Welcome back to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, where this season the Philadelphia Phillies drew more than 3 million fans at home for the first time in franchise history, and they've seen an entertaining start to the first game of the league championship series as Curt Schilling has pitched 2 perfect innings. He struck out the first 5 Braves tonight before Terry Pendleton bounced to short, ending the second. So it's the bottom third of the Atlanta order coming up. Damon Berryhill, Mark Lemke, and Steve Avery. Berryhill, a .245 hitter during the regular season. And he'll see the bulk of the action behind the plate in this series. Greg Olson will catch John Smoltz, the scheduled Game 4 starter, and Berryhill will handle the rest.
I think primarily because Berryhill right now is a better thrower than Greg Olson. Olson, an excellent handler of pitchers, and pitches for that matter. But Berryhill, his arm is in tip-top shape, and Olson has a shoulder that is ailing. It's not hurt, but it's ailing. It's not as strong as Berryhill's now.
There's Greg Olson. Crowd wants another strikeout. It would be the 6th for Schilling. The 0-2 lifted into shallow left center, and Incaviglia makes the catch. Well, yesterday Art Howe was fired as manager of the Houston Astros. Today Jim Lefevre was fired as manager of the Chicago Cubs. What a couple of days it has been in Chicago. The White Sox hosting the first 2 games of the American League Championship Series and losing them both. Michael Jordan announces his retirement, and today Lefevre fired after 2 seasons as Cubs skipper. Not a big surprise. He had been having his problems with the general manager there, Larry Himes, for quite a while.
And speaking of Larry Himes, Jeff Torborg, fired from the New York Mets, used to be the manager with the Chicago White Sox when Himes was the GM there. So speculation, obviously the rumor mill working, that Jeff Torborg could be hired for that Chicago Cub job.
After the experience Jeff just had with the Mets, I'm not so sure he'd want to rush back into any managing experience.
Mets winners of only 59 games this year and losing 103.
If I'm not mistaken, Torborg has 2 years left on his Mets managing contract to stay at home with his lovely wife Susie.
Yep.
2-2 the count on Mark Lemke. And he fought it off.
Talking about managers, Jim Fregosi, the manager of the Phillies, says that this will probably be his last managing job. Not this year, but that he wants to stay here for a long time. There's Jim. He says when and if he leaves the Phillies, it will be his last managing job.
Bruce Fleming started to ring up Lemke and then thought better of it.
I think Darren Dalton came up on him. Umpires like for catchers to stay low, and you'll notice how Dalton came up. No, he didn't come up until after the pitch. He did stay down. Very close pitch to Lemke.
Now the payoff pitch. High fastball fouled straight back and out of play. Curt Schilling is just 26, but he's already been in the organizations of the Red Sox, Orioles, Astros, and Phillies. A pop-up by Lemke along the third base line. Hollins makes the catch. Bruce Fleming says that was a fair ball. Two down in the Atlanta third. The Phillies lead 1-0. They've out-hit the Braves 3-0. Now Steve Avery, who hit 160 during the regular season, 12 for 75. Down the left field line, Incaviglia on the run, can't get it with the dive. It's a fair ball. And Avery stops at second. He's the first Atlanta base runner of the night. Steve Avery, a 2-out double in the third.
Avery with only 12 hits on the season. I say only. That's really a lot of hits for a pitcher, but that was 4th on the Atlanta staff. They have an outstanding hitting pitching staff. The one thing about extra base hits is you see the dive by Incaviglia, nice try. But Steve Avery with his 4 doubles on the year, as many as all of the other starters combined, or the 3 of the big 4.
Otis Nixon had a real tough time of it with runners in scoring position this year, as the 196 average indicates. Schilling's first pitch to him, a strike.
Philly outfielders are too deep. Incaviglia in left and Dykstra in center. When Nixon is hitting from the left side, the off field, you want the fielders to plan very shallow. They're too deep right now.
Incaviglia was playing the line and playing shallow for Avery, but even though he was over there, he couldn't get to the ball, and that's definitely an advantage for the Braves in this series. Defense, the Phillies were 9th in the league in team fielding this year. And Incaviglia doesn't cover much ground in left. That last pitch that Nixon watched whiz by clocked at 94 miles per hour. Schilling struck out the side in the first. He fanned 2 in the second, looking for his first K in the third. And Nixon fought it off.
You can see by that type of swing the lack of power Nixon has the other way. You got to dare him to hit the ball over your head. You cannot allow him to plop a ball in front of you if you're a left fielder, with Nixon hitting left-handed.
Otis drove in only 8 of the last 69 men that he found in scoring position this year. A 1-2 pitch. The high rider, 2-2. We're in the top of the third. The Phillies lead 1-0. One concern Jim Fregosi had about Schilling in making this game 1 start is that he might be too hyper. Not so. The 2-2. Just low. Dalton wants an appeal. No swing, says Jim Quick. The count is full on Nixon. The payoff pitch. Pop foul and out of play. This is game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Game 2 here tomorrow night, 8:12 Eastern time in the first pitch. Then the scene shifts to Atlanta for games 3 through 5. 2 of those afternoon ball games. Games 6 and 7 if necessary back here at the Vet. Another 3-2 pitch. And another foul ball out of play. That one clocked at 95. You can understand why Otis is having a tough time getting around.
Well, one of the reasons that Schilling is so hard to hit for a left-handed batter is the disparity between the pitches. He throws a 95-mile-an-hour high fastball, and then that splitter is hard and heavy and low. So what it does, it changes the hitter's eye level.
Hollins won't have room. The Braves had quite a turnaround in their season, made up the 10-game deficit at midseason that stood between themselves and the San Francisco Giants. And the season turned around for Otis Nixon as well. At midseason, he was a bench player. Deion Sanders had taken over as the starter in center field. Nixon had asked to be traded. Then Sanders got sick. Nixon went in as the starter and played very well. He's been in there ever since. That's well hit to left. Incaviglia has it go over his head. And it doesn't take long for one of the Achilles heels of the Philadelphia Phillies to make itself known. 2 fly balls to left, both of which might have been handled by somebody else, eluded the grasp of Incaviglia, and the Braves have tied it up at 1-1.
Now, this is one of the rare times I said that Incaviglia should be more shallow, and I stand by that. This is one of the rare times that Otis Nixon can connect the other way. Incaviglia doesn't field it at all. I don't even think he touched it. He may have gotten a glove on it. You're going to get burned sometimes like that, but not too often if you play Nixon shallow. And now what that does, that drives Incaviglia back for the next time that Nixon comes up and the other times, and will allow him to plop balls in front of it.
So after retiring 8 in a row to start the ball game, Schilling has given up back-to-back doubles to Avery and Nixon. And the Braves have tied it at 1. And suddenly it's very silent here at the vet as Schilling looks in at Jeff Blauser. Smoking fastball for strike 1 to Blauser, who was one of the 3 strikeout victims in the first. He went down swinging.
Blauser with 110 runs scored this year. That led all major league shortstops. Terrific year in the number 2 slot. That's usually not a spot in the batting order where you drive in a lot of runs. He had 71 RBIs from the 2-hole. All-around ball player. He's a great bunter. 363 with 2 outs, runners in scoring position. What do you need? He delivers.
It was over the second half of last year that Blauser established himself as the starter. Came into his own as one of the best shortstops in Major League Baseball. There are many who believe he should be the National League MVP this year for all of those things that Tim mentioned that he does for the Braves. He has a constant running battle with his good friend Mark Lemke. You wouldn't know they were great friends to hear them talk about each other. When I asked Lemke yesterday about Blauser's MVP candidacy, he said anybody who thinks that way should be subjected to an immediate urinalysis. Apparently Lemke won't be casting a vote for Blauser. Some of the Braves coaches think he's their MVP.
Well, it does point out the balance that this team has. A great leadoff hitter in Nixon, a great number 2 hitter, and power in the middle of the order. From Gant through Pendleton.
Another full count. Looked like Schilling was going to breeze through another inning, but he's been forced to throw pitches here in the 3rd. Ron Gant waits on deck. We're in the top of the 3rd. The Braves and Phillies tied at 1. These 2 teams split the regular season right down the middle, 6 wins apiece. This will be the 28th pitch this inning for Schilling. And he struck him out. Strikeout number 6 for Schilling. We'll return to Veterans Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
South of Sunset is where it's happening.
It's where it is.
What is?
South of Sunset.
It's hot.
City of Angels.
Hey, I'll show you angels.
Give me a break.
Cody's a hard case. Ziggy's a smoothie.
And together, they make the greatest pair of detectives since...
Sherlock and Holmes, boy. See what I have to put up with?
South of Sunset.
You call this a promo? 3 weeks from tonight, see the action comedy you never thought you'd see on the Caucasian Broadcasting System. That's Columbia.
No, that's comedy.
South of Sunset.
This is CBS.
It's target time. Target time. Synchronize your watches. Target time. Target time.
This is a line. To some, it is seen as a barrier. To others, it's a point where traditions of the past are abandoned in favor of visions of the future. Introducing the revolutionary new Toyota Supra. It's taken everything sports cars were before and crossed the line.
Murphy, that package you sent to Denver, it never got there.
Introducing tracking software from Federal Express.
It was picked up at 5:20 last night, and it was delivered at 9:42 a.m. and signed for by Kate Donovan. Shall I call her for you, sir?
Never mind. Now you can track packages right from your computer on your desk.
Candace Bergen, TV's Murphy Brown goes one-on-one with Dave tonight.
Lenny Dykstra has had a great year. Yesterday he spoke with Tim McCarver about it.
I've led the league in a lot more things than I thought I would, but I'm more than satisfied, and as far as personally, yes, I can't say that I'm not. I mean, how could I not be? But what makes it even more satisfying is that, you know, we have came from the bottom, and people didn't really believe that we could do what we've done, and I feel that I'm a big part of that, and that we couldn't have done it without me, and that gives me great satisfaction.
And he's right. 92 losses last year, last place finish for the Phillies. From worst to first, duplicating the feat of the Braves a couple of years ago. 0-2 the count.
Braves and the Minnesota Twins, as a matter of fact, meeting in the 1991 World Series. They both went from worst to first. The Phillies doing it for the third time in 3 years. The last team to do it back in 1890, the Louisville Colonels.
Well, we talked at the beginning of the game about the importance of the two leadoff men. Both managers spoke of Nixon and Dykstra as keys, perhaps the keys, and both have made their presence known. Nixon drove in the Atlanta run. Dykstra scored the Philadelphia run. We're tied at 1 in the bottom of the third. Fastball just missed. 2-2 on Dykstra, then Duncan and Kruk at the top of the order against Avery.
Notice how softly Dykstra pulls the bat in his hands, and then he firms up on contact. Very loose grip on the bat. Not animated enough.
No. Wouldn't want to be the catcher when he shakes his head and that tobacco comes flying out of his mouth.
Andy Van Slyke, the center fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates, said that playing a game against the Phillies with Dykstra playing against him in center, you go out to take your position, it's like a nuclear waste site out there.
Avery crowded him and he popped it up in the direction of Pendleton. 1 out in the bottom of the third. At the conclusion of today's game, Tim McCarver and I will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's name to the Special Olympics. Mariano Duncan has heard voices like that, young fans, before. He is one of 11 children. He has 7 brothers and 3 sisters. Mariano from the Dominican Republic. He hit a grand slam in the game at Pittsburgh, rather, for Philadelphia. The game in which the Phillies wrapped up the National League East. Mariano called home to the Dominican Republic. His mother cried on the phone when Mariano told her he had hit the grand slam that wrapped up the National League East. His father got on the phone and told him to be more patient at the plate. Advice Mariano did not follow there as he swung and missed at a pitch out of the strike zone for the second out of the inning. First strikeout of the night for Steve Avery. It brings to the plate John Kruk, who reached on the fielder's choice and collected an RBI in the first.
There is a connection between John Kruk and pitching coach of the Atlanta Braves, Leo Mazzoni. John Kruk made the All-Star team last year, and the equipment manager shipped his jersey back to Philadelphia, and Kruk asked Leo Mazzoni if he could borrow his. So during the workout, Kruk was wearing Leo Mazzoni's. They're very close friends. They live about 20 minutes apart. John growing up in Kaiser, West Virginia.
And there's a look back at John Kruk at the All-Star game in San Diego last summer in the jersey of Leo Mazzoni. We're going to amuse brave Tom Glavine looking on. 1-1 the score. We're in the bottom of the third. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. First time these two franchises have ever met in League Championship Series play.
They did, however, play the first game ever in the National League back in 1876 on April 22nd. And the Braves won that game 6-5.
How'd you do in that one?
No, quit.
I was looking for your name in the box where you must not have started. There's a line drive to right. And Justice put it away. The Phillies go in order in the third. After 3, 1-1 the score.
When most manufacturers develop a new truck, they start with a model. Good idea. Here's ours. Introducing the first and only family of trucks designed from the inside out. A design that starts with you and has become the all-new Chevy S-Series. Everything else is history.
I learned to hit with the broomstick and bottle cap. That cap would spin and curve, and that made me a good hitter. What I enjoyed most was putting the uniform on every day, just playing baseball. One of the greatest honors of baseball, getting in the Hall of Fame. Well, I've been American Express member since 1974.
American Express is welcomed at the Hall of Fame and a lot of other places that bring out the kid in you.
The big game's over, and I'm at Mickey D's when, bam, I start seeing double.
How about 2 double cheeseburgers?
Then, I'm seeing triple.
Maybe 2 triple cheeseburgers.
Man, my head was in a spin. I needed the announcer to clue me in.
Hurry in for McDonald's Double Plays. Get 2 double cheeseburgers for $2, 2 triple cheeseburgers for $3, and a great deal on a triple cheeseburger extra value meal with fries and a Coke Classic.
Thanks.
What you want is what you get.
Y'all are in the right place.
At McDonald's today.
What do you mean I can't do that?
Please, don't pull that on me now.
I'm pressing enter.
You're the computer. You tell me where the file is.
Huh?
Don't just sit there blinking.
Enter. I'm gonna give this to you, but I want it back.
The idea of talking to a computer is certainly not a new one.
Open status report.
Getting a response certainly is. The new Desk Pro with business audio from Compaq.
This game summary is sponsored by Bud Light.
If you're just joining us, Curt Schilling started the ball game by striking out the first 5 Braves. That's a League Championship Series record. The Phillies scored first. Lenny Dykstra doubled, leading off their half of the first, scored in a fielder's choice by John Kruk. And the Braves scored with 2 outs in the third on back-to-back doubles by Steve Avery and Otis Nixon. So it's 1-1 as the fourth rolls around. Ron Gant, the leadoff hitter. And the first pitch of the inning from Schilling, a ball in the dirt. Gant was the third and final strikeout victim of the first inning. Ron Gant is a native of Victoria, Texas. The fellow native of Victoria, Texas is Houston Astros pitcher Doug Drabek. And from time to time during the League Championship Series, we'll be listening in on Drabek's scouting reports on hitters on these two teams.
And when he talks about Ron Gant, he will say keep the ball away. He is one of the deadliest pull hitters, inside hitters in the National League. And you talk about the Braves wanting to get back to the series to prove their worth. No Brave wants to get back any more than Ronnie Gant. Did not play in all World Series games last year. Says he has something to prove.
He walks on 4 pitches to open the inning. First walk thrown by Schilling. Let's listen in now on Doug Drabek's scouting report on how to pitch to Fred McGriff.
Fred McGriff. He's a good fastball hitter. You need to move your pitches in and out on him. You need to change your sequence of pitches, and sometimes it's necessary to throw off-speed pitches and fastball counts.
Fastball count is usually when a pitcher is behind in the count. A hitter is expecting the fastball. You really have to mix them up with Big Fred. Power to all fields.
Matter of fact, McGriff this year had 52 of his hits go to left. 48 of them went to center field. 58 of them to right field. 15 of his home runs to left. 9 of them to center. 13 to right.
Gives you an idea of how he uses all parts of the field in which to hit. And that's why Doug Drabek was saying mix them up, go in and out. Because if he gets a predictable location with a pitch, he can hammer it.
1-1 the score. We're in the top of the fourth. The Braves have the lead man on for the first time tonight. Ron Gant at first. The McGriff factor. They scored almost 2 runs per game more, did the Braves, after McGriff arrived than they did prior to his arrival. They hit more home runs and had a much better record. Some felt that when they acquired McGriff in mid-July that it was too late, with the Braves so far behind the San Francisco Giants. Rusty Baker was quoted at one point this season as saying, I think they got him 2 months too late.
Well,
he wishes that was still true.
Yeah, well, had John Schuerholz, the general manager of the Braves, made the deal any earlier, he would have had to have given up more. Either Chipper Jones or Javier Lopez, 2 of the most sought-after talents in the minor leagues. And instead, Melvin Nieves went to San Diego along with a couple of other minor league pitchers. Donnie Elliott was one. So the Braves did not have to give up their prize prospects to get McGriff.
Vincent Moore was the other. Good pitch by Schilling. 1-2 the count on McGriff, who was called out on strikes his first time up.
Looked like a backdoor breaking ball. What a hitter does, he sees the ball coming, he adjusts inside and it stays outside. It's a very effective hit or pitch.
The 1-2 hammered down the right field line. Chamberlain will have to play it on a hop. Gant continues toward third. McGriff stops at first with a long single. And the Braves threaten to take the lead for the first time tonight. First and third and nobody out.
Split finger fastball to McGriff. See that tumbling motion? That part of the plate, and McGriff with that good extension, and he releases that left hand almost like a student of Walter Reniak, the hitting instructor for the Chicago White Sox. But Fred says even though he has read Reniak's book, he read Charlie Lau's book, there's no real intention of releasing that top hand.
The infield back at double play depth as David Justice looked at a ball up and away. He was the last of the 5 straight strikeout victims of Schilling to start the ball game. The hits now even at 3 apiece. The score even at 1-1 in the top of the 4th. One ball and 1 strike on Justice.
David with 6 postseason home runs. That ties him with Henry Aaron. Pretty good company right there for the most home runs by a Brave in postseason.
He had 2 home runs off Curt Schilling this year and has 3 career home runs off Schilling and only 17 at bats against him. The 2-1 in the air, not very deep in left center. Gant is tagging. It should be deep enough to get the run home, and it will be as Incaviglia throws to second, and the Braves lead for the first time. It's 2-1.
Ron Gant scoring easily. Incaviglia goes to second base. That's why if you're the runner at first base, you try to tag at first to coax the outfielder to throw it to second. You want the run to score, obviously. Braves getting the lead for the first time in this ball game.
And McGriff is at first with 1 out for Terry Pendleton, who bounced to short his first time up. Bruce Fleming appeared to think about calling that a strike and then thought better of it. 1-0. So as is so often the case, the leadoff walk proved costly to Curt Schilling. Damon Berryhill will bat after Pendleton. Chopped slowly to short. They'll have to hurry to get 2. And no chance as Duncan fielded the throw from Stocker to force McGriff. 2 down. Pendleton safe on the fielder's choice at first.
Terry Pendleton 0 for 2 in this game, but what a weekend he had to end the season for the Atlanta Braves. Sparkling on defense, he drove in 9 runs in that series against the Colorado Rockies as the Atlanta Braves clinched it on Sunday when Kevin Gross beat the San Francisco Giants 12-1.
That came hours after the Braves completed their season series sweep of Colorado. They won all 13 games against the Rockies. You see where yesterday Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda, for that 1 win on the final day of the regular season, was made an honorary citizen of Atlanta by the mayor, Maynard Jackson. He received the plaque yesterday while Tommy was down in Phoenix watching the Dodgers prospects in the instructional league.
That was an upset.
He took the plaque. Yes, it was. Tommy took the plaque and some Georgia peaches, but turned down a tomahawk. Said he'd seen enough of those. They were watching the game, the Giant Dodger game, at Fulton County Stadium, where about 8,000 fans, after the Braves game on Sunday. And every time they showed Tommy Lasorda on the big screen in the outfield, they put "Our Pal" up graphically over Tommy's picture. That's something you never thought you would see in Atlanta. Big swing and a miss by Berryhill. He's in the hole 0-2.
Tommy Lasorda and the rest of the Dodgers see about 48,000 tomahawk chops every time the Dodgers play in Atlanta.
And didn't the venom come quickly back to that Dodger-Giant rivalry after both sides tried to play it down when we were out in Los Angeles last weekend? Tommy was quite animated in what he had to say about the Giants after they beat the Giants on Sunday, and Matt Williams fired back at Oral Hershiser. Those games next year will be interesting. Matt Williams said the Dodgers won't win a single game against the Giants next year. Said Oral Hershiser was riding him from the dugout when it became obvious the Dodgers were going to beat the Giants and ruin the Giants' division title hopes. And it would be inappropriate if we went through this entire telecast without saluting Dusty Baker, his coaching staff, and the players of the Giants who had such a great year. Certainly were deserving of postseason play, and were this 1994, they'd be in it.
Second best record in baseball, and here they are not in postseason play. The winners of 103 games. It has happened 8 times in this century where teams have won 100 or more games and not finished first.
Makes it that much more painful if you're a Giant fan. 0-2 the count on Berryhill. 2-1 Atlanta in the 4th. The ball up and in.
Saw Terry Pendleton take a fake break with the count 0-2 to Berryhill. Pendleton stole 2 bases against Schilling the last time these two teams met, but Schilling for the most part does an excellent job holding runners close. Only 11 stolen bases against him this year. 11 were caught.
Down the left field line, a long run for Incaviglia, and it's into the seats. So after breezing through the first couple of innings, Schilling has labored in the last 2. He's thrown 21 pitches here in the 4th. And up to 77 now for the game. 2 outs into the 4th inning. One weakness of the Phillies this year, the middle and long relief getting to the setup man and closer Mitch Williams. Setup men have been pretty good, Anderson and West, but in between, if they have to use those guys, it's a roll of the dice. And Berryhill strikes out. The 7th for Schilling, but the Braves get a run and they lead 2-1 after 3.5.
Hey, isn't that a Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich?
Yeah, we just brought it back.
Hey, isn't that your wife?
Where?
Ooh, could that dress get any tighter? It's back. Wendy's Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich.
Hey, isn't that Haley's comment?
Creamy ranch dressing with real bacon and Monterey Jack cheese on a whole breast filet. What a combination.
What's my wife doing here?
Where?
Two can play this game.
Wendy's Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich. You better buy two.
From the day we first opened our doors, we've made it our business to save you money.
Now it's Walmart's 31st anniversary.
And everybody who's been here
Right from the start.
And those of us just starting
are celebrating all month long with 31 days of anniversary savings at Walmart. From the very first day to the start of each new day, we put you first.
And that's why you save.
Savings right from the start.
Walmart, always the low price, always.
Can you find the Oldsmobile in this picture? We'll give you another try. Here's a hint. It's competition red, has four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and a hot V6 engine. It's the Achieva Sport Coupe. Surprise? It's your money.
Not so complicated, as simple as can be. You're always a comfort, set my spirit free. Oh, you're a part of me, that's the heart of me. Dr. Pepper, you're a part of me. Dr. Pepper, you're a part of me.
Sunday on CBS.
Emmitt Smith's back in the end zone for the Cowboys.
But the Colts defense is very aggressive.
Great interconference matchup.
We're big fans.
Philadelphia, the home of soft pretzels, cheese steaks, and scrapple. Have you ever had scrapple,
No,
Sean?
and after you described it to me yesterday, I don't think I will be.
So you could put a caption on this series, Scrapples to Grits.
Scrap the scrapple. Well, now for those around the country who don't know what scrapple is, would you like to share that information?
Well, it's something served with eggs.
Mm-hmm. Could you be more specific?
No.
Well, here in Philadelphia, they love it.
Well, it's part of a hog. Yeah, it's a staple dish here in Philadelphia. It's part of a hog, and it's served with eggs. That's as specific as I want to be.
All over the country, people are running to their dictionary, looking up scrapple. We're not talking about the board game. It sounds similar. Hollins a pop-up. Pendleton the catch, one out. The pennant race, a new experience for many of the Phillies. We talked with Darren Dalton about pressure.
The other night when we clinched it, I was asked, you know, is this the most enjoyable year you've had? And to answer that, honestly, I've had a lot of fun because winning takes care of a lot of problems. But mentally, it's been real draining, more so than any year that I've ever played. And that's just because going down the stretch, you're in that grind, and every pitch means something.
Well, certainly you prefer that to most of the Septembers that Dalton has experienced in his Philadelphia career when the games have been meaningless.
Yeah, we asked Darren, said, Darren, there's a responsibility with winning, and he said, you're darn right.
Fastball up from Avery. Dalton ahead in the count. 2 balls and a strike. In Cavilla on deck. 1 out of the bottom of the 4th. The Braves lead now 2-1. Three balls and a strike. Avery has retired 5 in a row since the intentional walk to Stalker back in the 2nd. Change speeds on 3-1. Had Dalton out ahead of it. The count is full.
Avery with only 43 walks this year and 223 in a third innings. That's his best walk ratio, only 1.7 per 9 innings.
And the payoff pitch. Strike 3. Dalton, watch the fastball whiz by. Second strikeout of the night for Avery. The Goodyear blimp, Spirit of Akron, is floating overhead, providing our aerial views of the action on the field. The Goodyear blimp has been flying over major events for more than 68 years. And it's a beautiful night to be flying over Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. These are great days to be a Philadelphia sports fan. Phillies in the postseason for the first time in 10 years. The Eagles, a big surprise in the NFL, undefeated.
Even though Randall Cunningham broke his leg, he's out for 10 weeks. Broke his leg in his last start.
Well, let's hope either he or Eric Lindros don't announce their retirement tonight and take the spotlight away from these two teams that work so hard to get into the spotlight. Even the Flyers won their opener last night, beating the Pittsburgh Penguins behind Eric Lindros. 1-2 the count on Incaviglia, who was out on the fly ball to center his first time up. Wes Chamberlain hoping for a chance to bat here in the fourth. It's starting to get a little bit cooler. The change missed. The count is full. Danny Jackson on the left. He'll start game 4 for Philadelphia. Payoff pitch in the air, center field, and well hit. Nixon at the wall and looking up. Home run, Kate Incaviglia. Incaviglia hit 24 during the regular season, 2 of those off Steve Avery. His third homer in 93 off Avery has tied this ball game at 2.
This is a good pitch right here, outside corner, fastball, and Incaviglia really puts a charge in it. 5 of those 24 home runs to center field this year, and he knew it. Home run trot early. He knew it, so did Otis Nixon.
Incaviglia said yesterday this is by far the most fun he's ever had as a major league player, and getting more fun for Inky by the moment. 2-2 the score in the home half of the fourth, and the batter is Wes Chamberlain with 1 strike to count. And a ball. Chamberlain doubled down the right field line his first time up. Chamberlain started his season on the wrong foot. He was late on opening day.
Overslept, yeah.
Yeah, tough to do. But he was on time the rest of the year.
One of the differences between the Phillies and the Braves, among many other things, is that the Phillies have 5 regular outfielders. They platoon in right field with Eisenreich and Chamberlain. Eisenreich, a left-handed hitter, of course, and in left field with Incaviglia and Milt Thompson. Dykstra, the only outfielder that plays every game for the Phillies.
1-2 to Chamberlain. He laid off it low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Braves, on the other hand, with Gant, Nixon, and Justice are solid, and if one of them go down, then Deion Sanders takes their place.
Deion bothered by a virus. Put him on the shelf for a while. The strikeout ends the inning, but the home run by Incaviglia ties the ball game 2-2 after 4.
Hey, early again, huh, Frank?
I don't say this to many people. What we do, the job we do,
Okay, guys, listen up.
is the most important job I can think of.
You've got a flight control check. Lewis and Randall.
I mean,
Horoscope
there's
on
no
number
such
2.
thing as a B-plus mechanic on this airline.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Everybody knows their job. Everybody's responsible. Anybody, right down to the most junior mechanic, can keep an airplane in this hangar if there's the slightest hint of a problem. You might think doing a job like this, day in, day out, it'd become routine. You know, just turning wrenches. But every now and then, I just go up and take a walk through the terminal. And right there, right in front of you, you see what's important.
By now you've probably heard about that independent test between the Oldsmobile 88 LSS, Acura Legend L, and Lexus ES 300. Well, even after 100,000 miles, the Oldsmobile ran neck and neck with cars that cost thousands more. Which leads to an obvious conclusion. A lot of people out there are spending more than they have to. It's your money.
You're unbelievable. You're so unbelievable. You're unbelievable. You're unbelievable.
A thank you message from Major League Baseball.
The Philly Fanatic, the best mascot in the game, in my opinion, fooling around with Dulio Costabile, our cameraman, on top of the Braves dugout. Interesting story. David Raymond is the gentleman inside that costume. He has been the only Fanatic the Phillies have had. And you notice those hand movements. His mother was hearing impaired. His mother, Suzanne, she passed away 4 years ago. And he credits having to communicate with his mother. One of the big reasons that he can communicate with the crowds here at Veterans Stadium. Very warm story. His dad, the coach at the University of Delaware, he's been there for 38 years.
The football coach, Tubby Raymond, a legend in these parts. Mark Lemke, the batter. He popped out to the third baseman Hollins his first time up. So each team has enjoyed the lead and each team has squandered it. And we're tied at 2 in the 5th inning. Lemke, Avery, and Nixon against Schilling. Breeze through the first 2 and has labored in the last 2. Fastball for a strike. 2-2 on Lemke. Still bothered by a sore shoulder is Lemke. It's his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder. His knee, which sidelined him for a while, is feeling much better. Chopped down to first. Truck wins the race to the base. 1 out. And that brings up Steve Avery, who scored the first Atlanta run. The first hit of the night for the Braves was their first base runner when he doubled down the left field line. Here it comes. And as usual, Steve Hurt, our crack statistician, hit the floor.
He is our big hurt, I'll tell you that.
It's going to be a big hurt to himself if he ducks for cover any more quickly. There's a base hit for Avery, who came into the ball game hitting 160 for the regular season. He's 2 for 2 today. He doubled and scored the Atlanta run with 2 outs in the 3rd. He singled with 1 out here in the 5th.
Oh, that's the thing about the Atlanta pitching staff. Avery, Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine really give the Braves another bat in the lineup. They also give them another fielder when they're fielding. They're excellent athletes, and usually that does not tie in with the position of pitching. Doesn't go together. Pitchers are mainly specialists. Those
Sort
guys
of like
play
catchers can't run.
Yeah, right.
I know as a former catcher,
Yeah,
you'd
that's
agree
right.
with that. So
That's
you're not
right.
picking on pitchers,
No.
trying to diminish their athletic ability.
Well, most pitchers for the Atlanta Braves, however, extraordinary athletes, especially their top 4 starters.
Not only might they be battling each other for the Cy Young Award in the National League, but it's quite possible that Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox in particular will battle each other for the Gold Glove among pitchers in the National League.
Bobby Cox says that John Smoltz might be the best fielding pitcher in the National League.
The 2-0 to Nixon. Slap past the diving Hollins into left field. So Otis Nixon is 2 for 3 with his RBI double in the third. Now an opposite field single here in the fifth. And Avery and Nixon have combined to get Schilling in trouble again.
Over the last 41 games of the season, Otis Nixon was the Braves' leading hitter, a .339 batter over those 41 games. And a real advantage if you can run. You draw the third baseman in and then you spank it by.
That was the 5th hit for Atlanta. The 2nd for Nixon. 1st and 2nd and 1 out for Jeff Blauser, who was struck out twice, both times swinging. A pop up in foul ground. He'll be back into the seats. The city of Atlanta is still in search of its first professional championship. Braves have not won the World Series in 27 years since moving to Atlanta. The Falcons came to town in '66 as an expansion team. They have not even been to the NFC championship game. The NBA Hawks moved from St. Louis in 1968. They've never been to the NBA Finals. Of course, the Flames were there in hockey for 8 years. There's Ted Turner. He'd like to be the man to bring the first championship professional sports to Atlanta.
And he owns half of the teams in Atlanta, not only the Braves, but the Hawks.
Not surprised that Blauser might struggle tonight. He has been battling the flu the last couple of days, skipped the team workout here yesterday, and wasn't feeling particularly well before the game tonight. He's already fanned twice, and he's in the hole here 0-2. Schilling has already struck out 7. One of the few problems Schilling had this year, the opponent's batting average with runners in scoring position, .311. He didn't let many get to scoring position. Time called. Dalton will go to the mound to discuss the 1-2 pitch upcoming to Blauser. I guess he's afraid that he'll read his lips. He put his catcher's mitt up over his mouth when he was chatting with Schilling.
Clint Eastwood, read my lips. I can't. You have a glove over them.
Maybe they're just germ conscious. The 1-2 pitch, he struck him out. Blauser fans for the 3rd time. Now here's Doug Drabeck's scouting report on Ron Gant.
He's an aggressive hitter. You want to try to tie him up inside so you can use your breaking balls away. He likes the ball up in the zone. And he's another one you want to keep off the bases because he can run.
See, the one thing about Doug Drabeck, he's a completely different pitcher than Curt Schilling. Schilling throws a high riding fastball, and Drabeck, the type of guy who can get in on Ron Gant, but I don't think you'll see Curt Schilling doing that.
32 go-ahead runs batted in for Gant this year. He has a chance to give the Braves the lead here. 2-2 to score in the 5th. Avery, the runner at 2nd, and Nixon at 1st. The 0-1 pitch with 2 outs. High fastball. Gant chased it and missed it. 0-2.
That's the thing the Philly pitchers are trying to do. Get ahead of Ron Gant and then expand the strike zone. Be surprised to see this slider off the plate. Gant is inclined to swing at bad balls when he's behind in the count.
Schilling looking for his 9th strikeout. He struck him out. Halfway through the ball game, the Braves 2 and the Phillies 2.
So what would you say if I told you to see your Oldsmobile retailer right now? You'd ask for directions. You'd say you just bought a new Oldsmobile a few minutes ago. You'd say, wow, an 88 special edition with air, cruise, tilt, anti-lock brakes, and dual airbags for $19,995. Gee, so I was right the first time. It's your money.
A startling proposal heads for New Orleans. A hard-fought contract is Chicago-bound. 3 sets of contact lenses are expected in Tampa by tomorrow morning. Express mail from the Postal Service will get them there, overnight, guaranteed, from just $9.95. Every day, overnight, we deliver for you.
It's wilted.
Stand by, 710.
I ordered pepperoni and onions on this pizza. I can't taste them. I can't even see them. They're just cut small. Small? How small?
So small they can't be seen by the naked eye.
Want big toppings? Introducing the new Chunky-style pizza from Pizza Hut. It's got big chunks of meat and vegetables for taste you can actually see.
South of Sunset is where it's happening.
It's where it is.
What is?
South of Sunset.
It's hot.
City of Angels.
Hey, I'll show you angels.
Give me a break.
Cody's a hard case. Ziggy's a smoothie.
And together, they make the greatest pair of detectives since...
Sherlock and Holmes. See what I have to put up with?
South of Sunset.
You call this a promo? 3 weeks from tonight, see the action comedy you never thought you'd see on the Caucasian Broadcasting System. That's Columbia.
No, that's comedy.
South of Sunset.
Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver and Pat O'Brien back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Halfway through the ball game, the Braves and Phillies tied at 2 in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. And Kevin Stocker, who was intentionally walked in the second, begins the Philly 5th against Steve Avery. The first pitch high for ball 1. Already thinking about the holiday season here in Philadelphia.
Phillies looking for an early Christmas present. But do they ever have a juggernaut in their way in the Atlanta Braves?
One and 2 the count on Stocker, the second most inexperienced shortstop to start the postseason game.
Joe Sewell, the most inexperienced rookie shortstop, back in 1920, as Berryhill retrieves this ball, but it was a foul tip. Back in 1920, Joe Sewell of the Cleveland Indians, playing in a World Series, the youngest rookie shortstop, or the shortstop of the fewest games, only 22, and the reason for that was the death of Ray Chapman. He was hit in the head, pitched by Carl Mays. That is the only fatality ever, pitcher to a batter, in Major League Baseball. One thing that Jim Fregosi loves about Kevin Stocker is he says you tell him something once and he never forgets. And Fregosi says that his college coach deserves a lot of credit. He attended the University of Washington. He became a switch hitter his freshman year. And he credits, Jim Fregosi credits, Bob McDonald, his coach for 14 years out there. That's how many years Bob was out there.
Justice, the catch for the first out of the 5th. Coach McDonald now at Navy. Stocker wasn't sure when we spoke with him yesterday if Coach McDonald would be here tonight, but that's not that long a trip.
Couple of hours.
Now Kurt Schilling. The pitcher bounced to the first baseman McGriff unassisted his first time up. We're in the 5th, 2-2 the score. Fanatic now from the Phillies bullpen. Breaking ball, no contest. 0-2 on Schilling. This 93 season, just the second full year as a major leaguer for Schilling. Here he is starting the first game of the league championship series. He said yesterday it's definitely an honor, but he equated it to starting on opening day of the regular season. He said you strive for that during spring training. If you do it, that's great, but after opening day it really isn't any more significant than any other starting assignment. That's the case when beginning the league championship series as well. Lemke throws him out. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays won the first two at Chicago, and now they head back to Sky Dome, needing to win 2 out of 3 to wrap up the league championship series.
Depending on two very young, inexperienced pitchers, Wilson Alvarez, Jason Beret, to handle the Blue Jays. Dave Stewart. There you see Alvarez and Hinkin. They'll be going on Friday night. Dave Stewart today winning his 7th league championship series game. He is 7-0 in LCS play. Remarkable.
He allowed only 1 run over 6 innings today in Toronto's win. Time called by Bruce Fremming. He was looking toward the Philly dugout. Tough to tell what that was all about. Well, the count 1-0 on Dykstra. Dykstra doubled and scored in the first inning. He popped out to the third baseman Pendleton in the third. I loved his response yesterday when you put the question to him about so many people saying that Dykstra is the key to this series. He said, yes, I think that's true. I am the man.
Yeah, and he wasn't cocky about it.
Very high, foul ball out of play to the right.
Atlanta Braves has Henry the Hammer Aaron, and the Phillies have Nails Dykstra. He is a money player. Big 2-run homer in Game 3 of the National League Championship Series for the Mets in '86. Change up there, got him.
Strikeout victim of Avery as the Phillies go in order. We'll return to Veterans Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
Okay, big finale. Don't forget!
3 weeks from tonight.
South of Sunset.
Hey, yo, I do my own stunts.
Did I say action?
Hey, yo, I do my own stunts, too.
Greatest pair of detectives since Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Who?
Shakespeare.
Who?
Needless to say, I'm the brains.
Whoa! I'm gonna kiss myself. Good God.
South of Sunset.
On the Caucasian. That's Columbia.
Comedy Broadcasting System.
Be there.
They mean here.
Make my day.
This is CBS.
Every time Mercedes-Benz introduces a new car, other car companies rush to follow. And when Mercedes-Benz introduces a whole class of new cars, others scramble to catch up. Now Mercedes-Benz is introducing the new E-Class, featuring the powerful E420 V8. Other car companies may find this one even harder to follow.
The philosophy I took the field with every day was play. I was born to play. I don't think I ever looked at it as a job. I'm here because baseball was a passion to me, and I think that's really what it has to be. I've been a member of the Hall of Fame since 1983, and American Express card member since 1986. It's been around for a long time, and I know that it's going to work.
American Express is welcomed in Cooperstown and a lot of other big league towns.
Just one love, and I knew that you were the only one.
Whatever you're looking for
for, you can find it with just one look in the real Yellow Pages.
Just one look, that's all it took. Just one look, that's all.
The real Yellow Pages from Southern Bell.
Barbara Sloan and Stan Miller report 6 Action News tonight.
I mentioned earlier that Fred McGriff is not necessarily a practitioner of the Riniac school of hitting, but he does read up on the art.
I've read his book and so forth. I read like George Brett, Charlie Lyle's book and so forth, Riniacs. I'm always like reading little books, trying to come up with something, you know, trying to improve, because once you have success, you got to keep coming back every year. And the pitchers, I mean, they're not going to lay the ball right down in the middle of the plate so you can hit the ballpark, so you got to constantly make adjustments to continue to hit, so I'm always reading.
Well, he took the first pitch of the 6th to center field. Dykstra squeezed it. 1 out. McGriff now 1 for 3. He singled back in the 4th.
Thing about hitting and pitching, as Fred said, you've got to adjust before the pitcher does. If he's pitching inside all the time, then you've got to open up, look for more pitches in there, and then when you start hitting that pitch, you realize that a lot of pitchers are going to go away, so your thinking has to adjust before the pitchers do.
David Justice was called out on strikes in the 2nd, had a sacrifice fly in the 4th. Another chance for Dykstra. Well, a couple of pitches and a couple of quick outs for Schilling. 2-2 the score in the 6th. Schilling could use a quick inning. He's faced 5 men in each of the last 3 innings. Terry Pendleton is 0 for 2. He's hit it on the ground twice. Schilling threw 95 pitches in the first 5 innings. That's his 3rd pitch of inning 6. How about that? Terry Pendleton has played in more postseason games than the Phillies franchise, dating back to 1883.
Also the Chicago White Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays. So Terry Pendleton has played in more postseason games than the 3 other franchises in league championship play this year. Reggie Jackson leads all players in postseason play with 77 games.
Pendleton sends it out of play. The current Phillies franchise entered the National League in 1883, as you saw in the graphic. A fellow named Alfred Reach bought the Worcester, Massachusetts Brown Stockings and moved the team here. They've been here ever since. Known once upon a time as the Quakers, and in 1944 and 45 as the Blue Jays. The crowd wants strikeout number 10 from Curt Schilling. His career high is 11. 2-2 on Pendleton. Those 11 strikeouts this year. Matter of fact, recently, September 20th, here at the Vet against Florida, he fanned 11 Marlins. He's had at least 1 strikeout in every inning. Doesn't have one here in the 6th and won't get one if Hollins throws out Pendleton. He does, and that ends the inning. The Braves go in order after 5 1/2. 2-2 the score.
This place. It's the new Burger King Everyday Value Menu with big Flame World burgers for only 99 cents.
I can't do it myself for 99 cents.
Your favorite Burger King foods at new lower everyday prices, like the Croissant Combo served hot and fresh for $1.99. Check your Burger King Everyday Value Menu and be sure to try the delicious Flame Broiled Whopper Combo for $2.99.
That's great news for my pocketbook.
Value every day. Have it your way.
You're gonna want to come back every day.
Your teeth aren't flat, are they? Of course not. If they were, a flat brush would be ideal. But since your teeth are shaped like this, we designed our brush like this. Introducing Crest Complete. Your dentist uses special instruments that get between teeth. Crest Complete gets between too, up to 37% farther than the leading flat bristle brush. So to help maintain a dentist clean at home, get new Crest Complete. Only Crest could make a brush this complete.
Over 1.5 million vacationers toured the canals of Venice last year. Not one of them, however, was a Lexus engineer. Why? Let's just say they were busy. The 1994 Lexus ES, improved, revised, refined, embellished. In a word, new.
Driver, do you have any Bud Light in your vehicle?
Yes.
Then I am Mr. Gallywikich.
You mean Dr. Galakowicz?
Yes, I am. This is so cool.
First time in a limo? Doctor?
In a limo this small.
If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Down below us,
Harry Smith
underwater,
and Paula Zahn
You live with the man who happens to be your boss. It hasn't been
on CBS This Morning.
On to the bottom of the sixth here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. 2-2 the score. It's been a well-pitched ball game by Avery and Schilling.
I think Avery, everybody expected Avery to come out and pitch a strong ball game. I don't think, however, that people thought Kurt Schilling would be as dominating as he has been, especially with the strikeouts. 9 strikeouts through 6 innings of play.
Avery working to Mariano Duncan in the home half of the sixth. Ball low and a count of 2-0. Duncan, Kruk, and Hollins due up. Mariano bounced one foul. Duncan singled in the first. He struck out in the third. He has taken over as the starting second baseman from Mickey Morandini. Popped up. Justice in medium range right field made the catch. Here's what Doug Drabeck told us about John Kruk.
John Kruk, he likes the ball middle away and up. He's most effective when he's driving ball to the opposite field because that's where his power is. So you need to use a lot of breaking balls to try to get him to pull the ball.
30 of John Kruk's first 33 major league home runs were hit to left field. He has that inside out swing with power the other way, and that's why the Braves defend him. Otis Nixon into left center, and they give him the gap in right center field, just as straight away in right.
Looked like he was trying to shoot it to left field, and he fouled it off. 0-2 on Kruk.
Very, very unusual swing and stance by John Kruk. Looks like he's standing there ready to open an umbrella. Open stance, almost facing Steve Avery.
Kruk says of the Phillies, we're really a pretty nice bunch of guys, but you wouldn't want to have us over to your house for dinner. Of course, David Letterman had him by for a visit on the Late Show with David Letterman here on CBS a couple of weeks ago, and Kruk was a smashing success. That might have been a swing. No, says Jim Quick, and Kruk might have gotten away with one. It was close.
I think Kruk and the Phillies both got away with what could have been strike 3. Did he go too far? I think so. Kruk gets a break on that check swing.
So now the 2-2 pitch. Another check swing. And the count is full on Kruk. Phillies have the go-ahead run on with 1 out in the 6th inning. Just the second walk thrown by Avery. If you're just tuning in, the Phillies scored first in the first. Dykstra doubled, took third on a Duncan single, scored when Kruk reached on the fielder's choice. Atlanta tied it on a 2-out double in the 3rd by Avery, and Otis Nixon doubled him in. Atlanta took the lead in the 4th inning. A leadoff walk by Gant. McGriff moved him along with a single. Justice a sacrifice fly to bring him in. And Pete Incaviglia tied it with a 2-out solo home run in the 4th. One strike on Dave Hollins. Bounced into a 5-4-3 double play in the 1st. And he fouled out to the 3rd baseman Pendleton in the 4th. Off-speed pitch missed low. 1-1 on Hollins. Larry Boa, longtime Phillies shortstop, former San Diego Padre manager, the 3rd base coach. Line down the right field line, a base hit. It'll roll to the wall. Kruk being waved around 3rd and now held, and Hollins has a double.
The last 2 hits for the Phillies, the home run by Incaviglia, now the double by Hollins, had been on perfect pitches. Right on the outside corner, but neither Incaviglia nor Hollins tried to pull it. Fielded nicely by Justice, and even though he overthrows the cutoff man, Fred McGriff, the trailer, makes the play to hold Kruk at 3rd base. But really a good piece of hitting by Dave Hollins, following that home run to Incaviglia a couple of innings ago.
Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, made a trip to the mound. Hollins has his first ever hit in the postseason. A double to right. Phillies have had only 2 hits since the 2nd inning, but those hits, the home run by Incaviglia that tied it in the 4th, and now the double by Hollins here in the 6th that has given the Phillies a great chance to reclaim the lead. 2-2 the score. Runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. The infield in for Atlanta with Darren Dalton at the plate. Fastball missed. Dalton 0 for 2. He's popped to 3rd and struck out. He drove in 105 runs during the regular season. Breaking ball wasn't close. 2-0. Bobby Cox has action in his bullpen as Avery is faltering here in the 6th. Jay Howell is the right-hander and Merker the lefty.
That's because Pete Incaviglia is on deck. I think Bobby Cox, if Dalton does walk, I think he will make a switch and force Incaviglia out of the ball game and get Jim Fregosi to use Milt Thompson. But Avery is still throwing very, very well. Cox asking Leo Mazzoni if Jay Howell was ready.
The 2-0. 3 balls and no strikes. And Bobby Cox giving the signal that they should just go ahead and put Dalton on now. They won't risk being too cute with one of the best RBI men in the game the last couple of years.
Over 100 RBIs 2 years in a row. And one would think with Incaviglia's prowess against Avery, especially this year, 3 home runs against him and 1 in this game, that's going to be all, and Howell will be the pitcher.
Avery has now walked 3, 2 of those intentional walks, 2 of the 3 walks in this inning. And so far, no movement out of the dugout from Bobby Cox. Incaviglia homered his last time up. A mammoth shot well over the fence and straightaway center. And they're going to stay with Avery. With the bases loaded, the infield back at double play depth. 2-2 the score in the 6th. And Avery's first pitch to Incaviglia, a strike. Hard foul. Avery jumps ahead of Incaviglia 0-2.
Yeah, Terry Pendleton out to talk to Avery, and then Berryhill out to talk. Blauser went out to talk, and it looked like they were buying time to give Jay Howell a chance to warm up. But he is staying with Avery, and Steve is ahead of Incaviglia 0-2.
The ball high. Incaviglia bounced into 9 double plays in the regular season. 5 career grand slams for Incaviglia, but his career average with the bases full not impressive at 170. The Phillies had 8 grand slams during the regular season. That's in the dirt and toward the dugout. Here comes Kruk with the go-ahead run.
Incaviglia, he tried to make him reach for the ball in the dirt, and Incaviglia didn't, nor did Berryhill. The ball bouncing off of his shin guard. What a catcher tries to do on a ball like that is to keep it out in front of him, to keep the runners from advancing. And now with first base open, I think Avery will try to go out of the strike zone to get Incaviglia.
Scored a wild pitch. The Phillies lead again 3-2. Runners at second and third. The infield is in again. And Incaviglia is out. Avery didn't realize it rather. Started to reach back to deliver. And stopped at the last moment. Incaviglia ready to go now with the count 2-2. Wes Chamberlain is on deck. Called strike 3. So from that standpoint, the move to keep Avery in pays off for Cox as Incaviglia strikes out, but it was the wild pitch that did in Steve Avery.
Breaking ball right here to Incaviglia, and a good one. Bruce Frimming punches him up.
5 strikeouts for Avery. Collins, the runner at third. Dalton at second. And they will intentionally walk Wes Chamberlain and pitch to Kevin Stocker. So this will be the 3rd walk of the inning. The 2nd intentional walk. And the 23-year-old rookie Stocker will come up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Stocker is a switch hitter. He was a much better hitter during the regular season, right-handed. So were Cox to make a move, he would likely summon the lefty. Or rather the right-hander to make him bat left-handed.
Well, I think if you stick with Avery to pitch to Incaviglia, you've got to let him pitch to Kevin Stocker. The reason they walked Chamberlain, a more experienced hitter. But Stocker has had a terrific year. You're talking about, as a right-handed hitter, a .381 batter this year.
What's really amazing about that is when they called him up from AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre, it was for his glove. They had trouble with the 3 shortstops they had used to the midway point of the season defensively. Stocker was only hitting .233 through half a AAA season. They didn't care if he hit a lick. They just wanted him to field. From a .233 hitter at AAA to .324 in the major leagues. He's standing in the very bright spotlight at the vet. In the 6th inning of a 3-2 game, there's a fly ball center field. Nixon was playing over in left center, so he went a long way to flag it down. The Phillies get one. They leave the bases loaded, and they lead 3-2 after 6. Phillies with first pitch at 8:12. That's tomorrow night at 8 Eastern time. The pitching matchup, Greg Maddux, a 20-game winner in the regular season, his first with Atlanta, and Tommy Green, 16-4. Mark Lemke looked at a ball outside.
Deion Sanders on deck, and he will be the pinch hitter for Steve Avery in all probability.
Foul tipped into the mid of Dalton. 1-1 on Lemke, 0 for 2. Lemke has popped out and bounced to first, and there is Avery, whose night is perhaps finished. Seventh inning, 3-2 Philadelphia. Fastball just missed.
Sean, you mentioned earlier that Lemke's shoulder is bothering him, and after that last swing against Schilling, you could see him moving that shoulder and rotating it around. Schilling with 108 pitches thrown, but you know what? Jim Fregosi doesn't care about that. I think he's going to let Schilling stay out there unless he's ineffective. I don't think that he's worried about how many pitches he throws tonight.
Line drive and a base hit. So the Braves have the tying run on with 1 out in the 7th inning as Lemke delivers an opposite field single.
Well, that is good hitting by Mark Lemke, protecting the outside part, and he pops one to left center field.
Dalton to the mound. They'll discuss the approach to Deion Sanders, who will bat for Avery. They're batting for their best hitter. Avery was 2 for 2 tonight. A double and a single. He scored a run. So here's Sanders, who was a terrific pinch hitter during the regular season. He went 12 for 29 off the bench, including a pinch hit home run. Overall, he hit .276, but .414 as a pinch hitter. And he's 4 for 10 lifetime against Curt Schilling.
And the one thing that he gives the Braves off the bench is speed. He only hit in the 3 double plays this year. So even if he hits it sharply, the middle infielders would have to hurry to get Sanders. And if you get the lead runner, he's in a position to steal.
There are some Braves fans among the 62,000. And a called strike. 1-1 the count. 2 setup men warming up in the Philadelphia bullpen. Larry Anderson, the right-hander, David West, the lefty. They've done an excellent job this year getting Jim Fregosi to his closer, Mitch Williams. Little pop up. Stalker in shallow center. 2 outs. Sounded like Sanders broke his bat and he was looking at the lumber as he heads back to the dugout.
Swinging at that inside fastball is like trying to run a dull razor through a heavy beard. Broke his bat. So you can see Schilling still throwing very, very hard. The Phillies lead the National League in complete games with 24. And Jim Fregosi is a guy that if the guy's still got his stuff and is still effective, he does not worry about the pitch count.
Well, we mentioned earlier Schilling's strikeout high of 11 on September 20th against Florida. In that game, Curt threw 139 pitches. He threw a first pitch strike to Otis Nixon, who, as anticipated, has been a thorn in his side tonight. Nixon 2 for 3, a single and an RBI double. Dave Hollins, the third baseman, a couple of steps in front of the bag.
And he's guarding the line in the process, guarding against the extra base hit that would score Lemke, perhaps.
Just low. 2 balls and a strike. And if you're just joining us, that lovely lady is Mary Jo Schilling, mother of the pitcher Kurt Schilling. Three balls and a strike. 3-2 Philadelphia in the top of the 7th. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Lenny Dykstra has the habit of waiting until just before the pitch sometimes to put his glove back on his hand a little bit earlier in this instance. And that's ball 4. So Schilling has walked Nixon. He's put the go-ahead run aboard and has pushed the tying run into scoring position. And here comes Johnny Podres, the pitching coach. Just the second walk thrown by Schilling. The other one went to Gant leading off the 4th, and Gant scored after walking.
Mentioned earlier that Kurt Schilling said Johnny Podres should be the MVP of the Phillies. Johnny Podres, a pressure pitcher in his own right. 1955 World Series, the 2-0 shutout over the New York Yankees. That was the only time that the Brooklyn Dodgers beat the New York Yankees. 1955.
First and second and 2 outs. Blauser is struck out 3 times tonight. Check swing and a foul ball over the Philly dugout.
You're not seeing, you mentioned earlier the flu that Blauser has. You're not seeing the real crisp, hard swings from Blauser that Atlanta fans are used to. Looks like he's drained when he's swinging the bat. He's been overmatched 3 times, striking out against Schilling, swinging all 3 times up.
And late on that pitch, 0-2.
He's behind everything.
Blauser has not fanned 4 times in a game this season. The fans are back on their feet in anticipation of strikeout number 10 of the night for Schilling. Interesting reaction on that pitch by Bruce Fremming, the home plate umpire. It looked like he thought it was going to hit him, even though the pitch was low. A little bit jumpy.
That happens back there.
Especially when the catcher catches it awkwardly, as Dalton did. Now the 1-2 pitch. Soft line drive caught by Duncan. That ends the inning. 7th inning stretch. 3-2 Philadelphia.
Hey, early again, huh, Frank?
I don't say this to many people. But what we do, the job we do,
Okay, guys, listen up.
is the most important job I can think of.
You've got a flight control check. Lewis and Randolph.
I mean, there's no such thing as a B-plus mechanic on this airline.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Everybody knows their job. Everybody's responsible. Anybody, right down to the most junior mechanic, can keep an airplane in this hangar if there's the slightest hint of a problem. You might think, doing a job like this, day in, day out, it'd become routine. You know, just turning wrenches. But every now and then, I just go up and take a walk through the terminal. And right there, right in front of you. You see what's important.
Airbags, seat belts, and anti-lock brakes, child safety seats, careful driving, and a set of Michelins.
It has a computer-controlled safety system, but it isn't an F-15 fighter. It has gold-plated connectors for longer life, but it isn't a deep space probe. It cost hundreds of millions of dollars to develop its technology, but it can be yours starting at around $13,000. It's the 1994 Toyota Corolla. You can't buy a more impressive car for less.
The eyes of America. That's why Pearl Vision is now offering $50 off on each complete pair of glasses. Pick any frame in the store, add any lenses, then subtract $50. Right now and only at Pearl Vision.
Tonight, Cat finds Dave.
It went on and on.
There's not a man, woman, or child alive today who can hit my slider.
Phillies up by a run, a little humpback liner to second baseman Mariano Duncan, and the Schilling family very, very happy as Kent Mercker is on in relief of Steve Avery. Mercker 3-1, his 44th game. He started 6 and throws just about as hard as Steve Avery does.
He was 3-1 in 43 games, 6 of them starts. The off-speed pitch got Schilling for the first out of the home half of the 7th. Schilling now 0 for 3.
The very fact that Jim Fregosi left him in the game to hit is an indication that unless he is ineffective, he'll stick with him. We talked about it the last inning, regardless of how many pitches he throws. Unless you get down to Mitch Williams, their short man.
Lenny Dykstra doubled and scored in the first. Since then, he's popped to third and struck out swinging. Mercker starts him with a fastball for a strike. Steve Avery worked 6 innings. He allowed 3 runs, all earned. On 5 hits, he walked 4, 3 of those intentional walks. Avery struck out 5 and threw a big wild pitch. He also surrendered the home run to Incaviglia. Mariano Duncan on deck. .143 runs scored for Lenny Dykstra. Isn't that impressive company? Most runs in a season since 1940. Ted Williams in 49 crossed the plate 150 times. Rickey in 85, 146. Dykstra 143 runs scored for this year.
Most runs in the National League scored since Chuck Klein in 1932. Chuck Klein, a Hall of Fame outfielder for the Phillies.
Mercker tied him up, and Dykstra fouled it away. Still 1-2. Well, the arms on Lenny.
Bigger guns than the 140-pound junior had when he went to see Rod Carew. Rod Carew was Lenny grew up from Santa Ana, California.
You see why he stepped out? He had a stream of tobacco juice from his lip all the way down his chin. That was even too much for Lenny to deal with.
Rod Carew, of course, the Hall of Famer for the Angels and an idol of Lenny's growing up. As a matter of fact, you can see a little bit of Rod Carew in the hitting style of Dykstra. Open stance, back foot close to the plate.
Lenny told a great story about that yesterday. His junior year in high school in the Anaheim area, tried to sneak into the Big A to meet Rod Carew. was arrested, thrown in jail. His parents had to bail him out. His aunt wrote a letter to Rod Carew explaining the situation. About a week later, Dykstra got a phone call from Carew inviting him to come back to the stadium, this time as an invited guest. Lenny is aboard with 1 out in the 7th.
Lenny said that he would have signed with the Angels, but they thought he was too small. He only weighed 140 pounds. But as you can see, he is much bigger now.
And very much a threat to run is Dykstra. He's at first with 1 out. He stole 37 bases during the regular season. 7th inning, 3-2 Philadelphia. Here's Duncan, who singled back in the first. Dykstra thrown out 12 times to go along with the 37 steals. He's really the only big stolen base threat on the Philadelphia ball club. Second highest stolen base total, Mickey Morandini, who is no longer a starter. He has 13. Heading back to first as Merker delivered to the plate, fouled away by Duncan. 0-1.
Braves are so deep in their pitching. We talked about all the minor league talent that they had. Chipper Jones, Javier Lopez, and Leo Mazzoni has just done a terrific job with this Atlanta staff. They keep running one quality pitcher after another at the opposition, to the point where Pete Smith didn't even make the roster.
Pete Smith and Marvin Freeman, 2 pitchers dropped as Atlanta had to get back down to the 25-man roster for the postseason. Those 2 guys the Phillies might well like to have in their bullpen.
Yeah, here's
postseason.
Here's Kent Merker, a middle reliever in postseason play, and other teams salivating over the arm of Kent Merker. I mean, he could be a 2 or 3 starter on most staffs in the big leagues.
Dykstra at first, 1 out. Bobby Cox and the Braves trail 3-2 in the 7th inning. Berryhill looking in to Cox for some help with the signs. We saw the fastball signal given by Berryhill, and Merker blew away Duncan with it. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Merker, with the walk to Dykstra in between.
The Merker just blows this ball by Mariano Duncan. An excellent hitter against left-handed pitching, but that's the thing about Bobby Cox. When he took over as general manager of the Braves after leaving Toronto back in 1986, he said this organization not only needs pitching, it needs left-handed pitching. He went out and signed Tommy Glavine, Kent Merker, Steve Avery, pitchers of that ilk, and have they ever performed?
John Kruk looked at ball 1. Kruk drove in the first Philadelphia run in the first inning when he reached on a fielder's choice. He lined to right in the 3rd, walked with 1 out, and scored the run that is the difference in the ball game last inning. Dykstra at first here in the 7th with 2 outs. 3-2 Phillies, despite the fact the Phils have been out hit by Bobby Cox's Chargers 6-5.
Jim Fregosi telling us before the game that the runners, the base runners on the Phillies, they have an open sign to run at any time. The only sign he gives to Larry Boa with Dykstra on base is the stop sign. If he gets a jump, then they want him to run.
He seems to be having a tough time reading the move of Merker. Jim Fregosi, 6 times an American League All-Star during his playing days. Kruk hit it a mile high behind the plate. Berryhill does not have a play. Two and one the count on Kruk, who has held his own against left-handed pitching this year. In Merker, he's facing a former first-round draft pick. Kent, the Braves' first selection in June of 1986. Another young member of this staff, just 25 years old, is Merker. You know, he broke into the big leagues back in '89. Fastball missed, a little bit too high, 3-1. On the ground, right side, Lemke knocked it down from his knee. He threw him out. Nice play by Lemke to end the inning. We've played 7. The Phillies 3, the Braves 2.
Toyota proudly presents All Around Champions. Doc Gooden is serious about winning. Having overcome a career-threatening injury, he knows exactly what it takes to encourage children to triumph over hardships. By taking the time to sign autographs or have a heart-to-heart talk, Dwight proves one thing. When children in need call, the doctor is in. Toyota is pleased to salute all-around champion Dwight Gooden by contributing $1,000 to the National Kidney Foundation.
If you want a truck built in the USA and loaded with options, you've got options. If you want sports stripes, chrome package, jump seats with 3-point seat belts, AM/FM radio, split bench, sliding rear window, and more for savings up to $850, you've got options. But if you want all that plus the #1 truck line in customer satisfaction, you've got no options. Toyota trucks, you just gotta love them.
Double header. I'm hungry. That goes double for me. McDonald's, I'm the double.
Thanks to McDonald's Double Plays, you can get 2 double cheeseburgers for $2 or 2 triple cheeseburgers for $3.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
I'm getting older, so I have to push myself just a little bit harder.
Introducing a new, hard-working Power Stick. Now with more odor fighters per stroke than ever.
Hey, that's better for me and everybody else.
New Power Stick from Fabergé, the most powerful Power Stick ever.
Fred's my AT&T sales rep.
The country gives me the creeps, but I came out here to tell Jan about AT&T's Maximum Advantage.
Everything about it is simple, except running it.
Maximum Advantage doesn't work for you. You're automatically enrolled. You get AT&T's best service at our lowest price guaranteed. We'll look at your calling patterns quarterly and make new recommendations. Jan, with our international fax and calling plans for our 800 service, you could be hosting the whole world that you're in.
Hi.
We're the Raskins. Ah, welcome.
Fred really knows my business. I'm sure I could get him up here full time.
This game summary is sponsored by AT&T.
For those of you just joining us, Phillies pitcher Curt Schilling set a league championship series record by striking out the first 5 batters of the ball game. It's been a back-and-forth game. 1-0 Philadelphia, then 1-1, then 2-1 Atlanta. The Phillies tied it at 2 and took the lead 3-2 on a wild pitch by Steve Avery. That was in the 6th inning. And it's still 3-2 as we go to the 8th. Schilling still on the mound. They were guarding the line, and the ball went right by Hollins. Had he been playing straight away, he might have gobbled that one up, but that's the way it goes in a 1-run game in the late innings. Ron Gant with the base hit.
I think when you have a guy like Ron Gant, you do guard the line at third base in the late innings. It used to be that with any hitter, you would guard the line. I think managers fell prey to that old traditional thinking. But with a guy like Gant, you really have to protect against the line. And now with David West warming, left-handed pitcher, a 1-run lead, and McGriff and Justice up. We'll see if Jim Fregosi goes to the left-hander. Of course, both of these guys, you mentioned Kruk hits left-handers well. Well, both McGriff and Justice hit left-handers very well.
Schilling will continue. Pitch to McGriff, who fouls the first one out of play and left. McGriff 1 for 3 tonight. He singled to right field in the 4th.
I'll tell you, Sean, I think in order for the Phillies to win this series, they have to win both games in Philadelphia. I think that it would be a big disadvantage if they went down to Atlanta in the chop shop and fell prey to the crowd down there and the talent of this team. Atlanta Braves, the best team in baseball. You know, they have to prove it, but they have the talent, and they have proven it with 104 wins so far this year. Those are the odds the Phillies are up against. The Atlanta Braves, on the other hand, I think if they win one game here in Philadelphia, they'll be very, very happy.
Interesting to hear Jim Fregosi say before the game tonight that there isn't a man in the Phillies clubhouse who thinks that their team should be the underdog in this series. Just as Schilling started to deliver the 0-2, McGriff called time. 3-2 Philadelphia. We're in the top of the 8th. Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver and Pat O'Brien at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Game 2 here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time on CBS. The 0-2. Oh, so close.
Dalton sitting outside, a backdoor breaking ball. And that is a pitch that, even though umpires said they were going to call that high strike this year, that's a pitch that pitchers have not been getting.
I think McGriff caught a big break. Now the 1-2. Not that time. He thought he was going to get the fastball. Schilling fooled him with a breaking ball for strikeout number 10. Here's the scouting report from Doug Drabek on David Justice.
Dave Justice. He's an aggressive hitter, especially in RBI situations. He's another guy you want to try to tie up inside to prevent him from getting his arms extended, and you definitely need to throw him some off-speed pitches.
You can see, by the way, Dave Justice swings and finishes his swing what Doug Drabek was talking about. He loves to extend his arms, and when he does, he maximizes his power.
Gant, a former 30-30 man with more than 30 homers and 30 stolen bases in the same year. He's done that twice, and he came very close again this year. Had the 36 home runs, fell short in steals, had 26, and was thrown out 9 times.
Yeah, Ron didn't give himself a chance to steal any bases this year. He had too many home runs. But look at his postseason record. 11 for 11 in stolen bases.
Right down the middle, 1-1 on Justice, 1 out. Gant at first, 8th inning. Schilling and the Phillies lead 3-2. That strikeout of McGriff was the first K for Schilling since the 5th inning. The strikeout pace has tailed off, as you might expect, given that he fanned the first 5 of the night. Tried to nibble at the outside corner. Even in this sequence of pitches lately, when he has missed, he has just missed.
I think the reason that Ron Gant isn't running is to leave the hole open on the right side, realizing that if Justice can hit one through there, he'll be on third anyway.
Well, the outfield is extremely deep for David Justice. They don't want to give up an extra base hit at this juncture.
Play the big guys deep and the little guys shallow. And David Justice, a big guy.
2-2 the count. Schilling has already fanned 10. 11 would match his career high. The runner goes, and Justice fouled it off. Gant running with the pitch. Jimmy Williams, the third base coach, one of the absolute best, former Toronto Blue Jay manager.
Jimmy also one of the more mobile third base coaches in the game. He is all over the place.
See if we can put a pedometer on him for a game during the series and see how much mileage he logs around that box. Again, Gant runs, and Justice fought it off. With 10 strikeouts for Curt Schilling, it's the first 10 strikeout game in postseason play since 1988, when Tim Belcher, then of the Los Angeles Dodgers, fanned 10 New York Mets in Game 2 of the '88 National League Championship Series. Having run the last 2 times, and gets a visit from Schilling. They're true to their team despite being booed by those sitting around them. This time Gant does not run. Justice sends it to left. Pretty well hit, but playable for Incaviglia. 2 down. Gant returns to first. We're in the 8th. The Phillies lead 3-2.
Even though Justice did fly out, watch the finish on this swing, and it gives you an idea of what kind of power he exudes. It's what Doug Drabeck was saying. You got to keep him from extending, and Curt Schilling with the forkball there, just on the outside part of the plate, just off the fat part of the bat.
Now Terry Pendleton, who is 0 for 3 tonight, has hit it on the ground all 3 times. Quick throw to first, and safe is Gant.
Remember, only 11 stolen bases against Schilling this year, 22 tried. He does keep the runners close.
Easier trip back to the base that time for Gant. Hollins is still guarding the line at third with Pendleton up there. A lot of room in right center field for Terry Pendleton. Fouled the first one off the mask. 1 strike on the Atlanta third baseman. It's going to take a little bit more than that to daze Darren Dalton, who caught 147 games, appeared in 147 games during the regular season, despite having had 6 operations on his left knee over the course of his career.
As a matter of fact, he will have his left knee operated on for the 7th time, probably, says Dr. Phil Marone, the Philadelphia team physician, after this season is over.
The 0-1 pitch. 1-1 on Pendleton. Dykstra again with that habit of taking the glove off between pitches. Sometimes it doesn't go back on the hand until the ball is on the way to the plate. You can see he's way over in left center for Pendleton. The pitch missed away again. 2-1. And at first, 2 outs, 8th inning, 3-2 Philadelphia. The Braves out hitting the Phils 7-5.
Dykstra deeper than he would normally be to prevent an extra base hit. So you have Hollins on the line at third, Dykstra extra deep in center. And that way, the theory behind that is that you're trying to make the Braves get 2 more hits to tie it.
Gant bluffed and slipped, and he is safe. Oh, close play. Gant went out onto the turf, bluffing towards second. Then, as he realized Schilling was going to throw to first, he had to spin quickly and lost his footing on the turf.
Watch Schilling step off and then throw, and Gant loses his footing, and the tag is high. Gant was back in there. This is a timing move. And the fans are booing here, but he was safe. High tag.
Fingers on the bag before the tag was applied up around the shoulder. Frank Pulley, the first base umpire. Popped up. It'll be close to the seats. Hollins and Stocker, and they come together. Hollins made the catch, and that ends the inning. The Braves have stranded 7. On to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Philadelphia.
There's no stealing the thunder. No, can't be contained. You fill me with wonder and cool me off like rain. You're a part of me. That's the heart of me. Without you, I'm just a lonely melody. But together we are harmony. Dr. Pepper, you're a part of me.
Having been ranked the best compact sport utility vehicle in initial quality by its owners, we thought the Toyota 4Runner's extra value package might go unnoticed. So we put a twist on it. You get chrome bumpers, leather seats and trim, air conditioning, power windows, door locks, mirrors, and more for a savings of up to $1,000. Nice catch.
With DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard, it's easy to make it happen.
Jell-O gelatin's just 12 cents a serving. That's 4 cents for the giggles, 4 cents for the improved motor skills, and 4 cents for creativity.
I know Jell-O.
Whatever your budget, there's always room for Jell-O.
Right now, all Craftsman hand tools, all power tools, all Craftsman lawn and garden equipment, and every gallon of paint are on sale. Save 10 to 30%. But hurry, it all ends Saturday at Sears.
Curt Schilling has been the standout of Game 1 for the Philadelphia Phillies, but based on what we saw moments ago in the dugout, Johnny Podry's on the phone to the bullpen, and Schilling rather animated in conversation with Jim Fregosi. It would lead us to believe that with Mitch Williams warming up, the decision has already been made to bring on Williams in the 9th inning.
You could see Fregosi shaking his head, no, no, no. So one would think that Schilling is through.
Schilling probably trying to talk Fregosi into letting him go back out there. Curt has thrown 136 pitches, and that's probably why Fregosi thinks it's enough. Kent Merker, the pitcher. Phil's looking for some insurance. They lead 3-2 as they bat in the 8th. Hollins, the leadoff hitter. He's 1 for 3, a double to right his last time up. Darren Dalton to follow, and then Pete Incaviglia scheduled against the lefty Merker. He's pitched 1 inning, scoring and hitless relief. He did walk 1 last inning. That's from Dublin, Ohio. Bounced up there. 2-2 on Hollins. Bottom third of the order is due up in the 9th for Atlanta. Berryhill, Lemke, and then the pitcher. That's low and in. Full count on Hollins, who was an all-star for the first time this year. Mike Stanton is a left-hander. Mark Wohlers the right-hander. Throwing in the Atlanta bullpen.
Hollins just laying off that 2-2 pitch from Merker. Phillies leading the National League in walks.
He hammered that one, but well foul. Well back into the seats and left.
Lenny Dykstra led the National League in walks with 129. Dalton with 117. He was third. Kruk was fourth with 111. And Hollins was sixth with 85, tied with Jeff Blauser.
There's Dalton on deck. Very high pop-up. Berryhill all the way back to the screen without a play. We mentioned that Mitch Williams is warming up. They call him Wild Thing, and he is not particularly a fan favorite here in Philadelphia. He generally makes things interesting, but more often than not gets the job done. He did have 43 saves despite all the drama this year. Hollins might have chased a pitch outside, and Lemke throws him out. So one away in the 8th inning. And the batter is Darren Dalton, who's 0 for 2. He was intentionally walked his last time up. Wow. 0 for 5 against Merker and nothing but Ks. Fastball at the bell to call strike.
The difference between Merker and Avery is Merker can get inside to left-handed hitters. Avery has a riding fastball. Merker has a tailing fastball. Tough for left-handers to handle.
Dalton has walked twice while batting against Merker. But he has yet to put it in play in his one-on-one battles with the lefty. And that's out of play and left. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out. Bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Philadelphia. Breaking ball missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dalton, who earlier this year signed a 4-year contract extension for $18 million. Lugosi said before the ball game he and Dykstra are definitely the catalysts on this Philadelphia team. If they don't do it in this series, Philadelphia is not going to do it. The payoff pitch.
The interesting thing about Dalton's contract, the $18 million over 4 years, was that the contract that he signed before was for $2 million for 3 years, and everybody was saying, how can you give a guy like Darren Dalton, a lifetime .230 hitter, that much money? They're not saying it anymore.
Couple of years and shown why, that's for sure. All-star the last 2 years, starting all-star catcher this year.
He is the real leader on this ball club. He's the guy that all the Phillies go to when they have a problem.
Well, he finally put it in play in his career against Merker, but he's out on the bounding ball to second. Floating over the game tonight is one of America's most enduring corporate images, the Goodyear blimp. Goodyear has been sending its blimps to major sporting events since 1925. And that shot of the moon over Philadelphia is from the Goodyear blimp. 2 outs and the base is empty. Home half of the 8th in game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Jimmy Williams aligning the Braves defense as Pete Incaviglia stands in. Smash through the right side, a base hit, and Incaviglia is 2 for 4. He homered back in the 4th.
I think you may see a pinch runner here for Incaviglia. Bill Thompson probably, and he'll go in for defense in the 9th inning.
You are correct. Here comes Thompson, a run for Incaviglia. We saw Incaviglia struggle with a couple of fly balls back in the third. That contributed to the first Atlanta run. It's the first hit given up by Merker. He's pitched an inning and 2/3. Thompson had 9 stolen bases during the regular season. He's at first for Wes Chamberlain, who has doubled, struck out, and been intentionally walked.
A lot of times a hitter can step out and look at the outfield defense and realize how a pitcher is going to try to pitch him. In other words, for Merker to throw anything off speed right now to Chamberlain would be going against the defense.
And he went with the fastball away. Chamberlain could not check his swing. It's a strike, says Frank Pull. Off-speed pitch missed low and in. Williams is still throwing in the Philadelphia bullpen. And Bobby Cox has Wolders still warming in his bullpen.
Even though Chamberlain didn't swing at that pitch, that is still a dangerous pitch, because that is the pitch, the straight change, that he's more apt to pull the left center field.
Chamberlain down to one knee. 2-2 the count.
Leave your feet, Wes.
Well, Wilt was quite a swinger, from what we understand. Matter of fact, Wilt would be the first to tell you that was true. Thompson at first, 2 out. Go to the ninth. Still 3-2 Philadelphia.
Toyota Camry. Built by Americans at a plant recently given the J.D. Power & Associates Gold Plant Quality Award. With this kind of craftsmanship, all the pieces fit together beautifully. The 1994 Toyota Camry.
I hear the bases are loaded with cheeseburgers at McDonald's. So who's on first? 2 double cheeseburgers for $2. Is it double on first? Double doubles with 2 triples on second for $3. A triple on second? Double triple.
Thanks to McDonald's Double Plays, you can get 2 double cheeseburgers for $2, 2 triple cheeseburgers for $3, and a great deal on a triple cheeseburger extra value meal with Coke and fries.
That's what I said at first. No, at first the 2 double cheeseburgers. What?
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
It's only a heartburn. I should learn to live with it, right?
You know, frequent heartburn may be a sign of a more serious medical problem. Your doctor has treatment plans that can help.
Frequent heartburn. Isn't it time you talk to your doctor?
Save right now. Buy 3 Goodyear tires at the regular price, get the 4th tire free. That's right. Buy any 3 of these Goodyear tires at the regular price and get the 4th free. 4 for 3 now. Hurry, savings end soon.
CBS Sports coverage of Game 1 of the 1993 National League Championship Series is brought to you by Toyota, reminding you to always buckle up. Do it for those who love you. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
With the Phillies up by 1, third base coach Larry Boa realizes that if the Braves make the play the way they should, Thompson's going to be out. And Ron Gant to Blauser to Berryhill. And that's a chance worth taking. The problem is that the Braves executed perfectly. Gant to Blauser to Berryhill, and Thompson's out by 3 feet. See the right shin guard of Berryhill warding off the charging Thompson.
And the wild thing is on for Philadelphia. Mitch Williams in 1993 recorded a team record 43 saves.
Batting for Braves.
And he will face a pinch hitter. Damon Berryhill scheduled lead off. He was 0 for 3 tonight. Bill Pacoda, backup infielder, will hit for him. Most of his action off the bench this year. Pacoda .323 in his first season with Atlanta.
And I think strike.
Lots of changes for the Phillies on defense. Kim Batiste has taken over at third base. Batiste in for Hollins at third. The ball outside. They are making him throw a strike. Milt Thompson stays in the game to improve the defense in the left field. The 2-0 to Pacoda is not close. 3-0. And the new right fielder is Jim Eisenreich. He has taken over for Wes Chamberlain. Much more speed in the outfield now for Philadelphia, but it doesn't matter if the pitcher doesn't put it over. Ball 4. None of them close. That has Schilling rocking back in his seat in the Philadelphia dugout.
Mitch Williams with one of the best pickoff moves in the major leagues, both from first base and second base. One thing I wouldn't be surprised right here, usually you don't try to bunt to tie on the road. However, the Braves are such a good road team. They won 29 of their last 34 regular season games on the road, and their bullpen is much better than the Phillies. So here it might make sense to go ahead and bunt for a tie on the road. We'll see what Bobby Cox has Mark Lemke do.
Lemke 5 for 8 lifetime against Williams. He's batting right-handed for the first time tonight. No sign of a bunt, and there's ball 5. Pitcher due next, Francisco Cabrera, has moved into the on-deck circle. Batiste a half step in front of the bag at third. Finally, Williams is in with a strike. And a mock cheer goes up from the crowd. There's Batiste slightly in front of the bag. .21 double plays bounced into by Lemke, the 4th highest total in the National League. And there's a double play, one hopper. Batiste threw it away. Into the game for defense. He threw it into right field. First and third and nobody out for Atlanta.
Clearly a throwing error on Kim Batiste, and Jim Fregosi said before the game, the one thing we cannot do is let our defense beat us. We have got to catch the ball. Well, Batiste catches it and then throws it way wide at second base. Duncan has no chance, and Pacoda goes to third easily.
First error of the series charged to Batiste, who committed 10 during the regular season. He was one of those who was tried briefly as the starting shortstop before they finally settled on Kevin Stocker.
Cabrera was out. There you see Tony Tarasco, the pinch runner at first base. But Cabrera was out as the pinch hitter, and now Rafael Belliard is going to be asked to an excellent bunter, so Bobby Cox has opted for the bunt now instead of the pinch hitter.
Interesting, because a double play grounder obviously would tie the game, but as you say, many times you don't play for the tie on the road. He wants to get that winning run down into scoring position, it would appear, by sending up Belliard, who in all likelihood will bunt. Ball one up and away. And then that puts pressure on whoever follows, because you're giving up and out here.
You still have a runner on at third base and less than 2 outs. With a bunt play like this, if you make Kim Batiste field the ball, if you're the runner on at third base, Bill Pacoda in this case, you just follow him up the line. When the throw's made to first, you can walk home. On a bunt play, the shortstop goes to second, the second baseman to first, while the first and third baseman charge. So if the ball is bunted down the third base line, you make the third baseman come in to field the ball, and you as the runner at third follow him down. When he makes the throw, you walk home.
That's what Belliard will try to do. He got it down but toward first. The runner does not break from third, and that's the first out of the inning. So they do get the go-ahead run in a scoring position, but they've given up an out to do it. Second and third, 1 out, 9th inning, 3-2 Philadelphia.
There's Batiste charging at third base. Of course, the ball's bunted down the first base line, but you could see Pacoda following Batiste up the line. Had it been dumped down the third base line, I think Pacoda would have tried to score. There are very few plays in baseball that you can't defend against, but that's one of them.
So now Otis Nixon. The infield back for Philadelphia, even with the bags at the corners. Nixon takes a strike.
I'm a little surprised at the right side not being up. I mean, a ground ball to the second baseman, the game's tied. And then that bullpen takes over, and they can match up against the Phillies. Of course, by bringing the runner in, if you allow a ground ball to go through, then the Braves take the lead. I guess that's what Jim Fregosi's thinking about now.
Is walking Nixon intentionally to load the bases and set up a double play if possible. Of course, it's risky with Williams.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
But you're not putting the go-ahead run on. That run is already out there at second. If you put Nixon on, you could win the game with the double play ball off the bat of Blauser.
Well, the thing about Williams' fastball, he throws the high-riding fastball. A lot of right-handers swing through it or pop it up.
To short. It will get the tying run in. Stocker threw out Nixon, but Pacoda is in to tie the game at 3. Second RBI of the night for Otis Nixon. And the error by Batiste looms large.
Had Nixon grounded that to third base. They have a play on Pacoda because Batiste was in, but it got by him, and a terrific pitching performance by Curt Schilling goes for naught.
It will not result in a win for Schilling. Now Williams is trying to keep it a 3-3 game, give his team a chance to win it with 1 run in the bottom of the ninth when they have the bottom part of their order due up. Stocker to lead off. Eisenreich would bat second based on the lineup juggling that Fregosi made. Blauser has only 1 lifetime hit off Williams, but it was a homer. He is fanned in 7 out of 9 at bats against Wild Thing.
I think if he walks Blauser, he's gone. I do not think Jim Fregosi can allow Mitch Williams, them being wild, to pitch to another man, especially when you've got Ron Gant, a fastball hitter, and a pull hitter. As you see David West, the left-hander, and Larry Anderson, the right-hander, warming.
So that's ball 4. He walks Blauser on 4 pitches. 2 walks in the inning. The first went to the leadoff man Pacoda on 4 pitches, and he scored the tying run.
What happens, he walked, yeah, that's exactly right. So both the walks this inning have come on 8 pitches, and what happens after that is the pitcher's inclined to take something off of his pitches to get it in the strike zone. You have a torrid hitter at the plate right now in Ron Gant.
There was a chance to give Atlanta the lead again. 3-3 the score in the 9th. Borderline pitch called a strike. Gant thought it went around the outside of the plate.
And it could have. Darren Dalton with a good job of framing that pitch and bringing it back in very smoothly to coax a strike call out of Bruce Crimming.
And is struck out. He walked and scored in the 4th, struck out in the 5th, singled to left in the 8th. Same pitch, same call. Gant in the hole 0-2. He didn't like that one either.
Well, this one looked farther outside than the first pitch. Backdoor breaking ball. Well, there it looks like a strike.
The fans downcast after the error, and then the run scored. Back on their feet, trying to spur on Williams and get him out of the inning. He nearly conked one of the fans with that pitch. 1-2 the count. Really can't quibble with Jim Fregosi's decision to yank Schilling after 8 innings. He had thrown 136 pitches, and that's a lot by any standard. And he has a man who saved 43 out there, called upon to do just this. Saved the ball game. He failed tonight.
And Williams walking the first batter of the inning, Bill Pacoda, but you had the double play ball and it was thrown away by Batiste. Otherwise, this game is over. But still a very, very dangerous hitter in Ron Gant.
The 1-2 pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Should Gant reach, Fred McGriff would bat next. Fouled off his foot. And that's smarted, as you might expect.
Late inning defense is one of the very difficult things in baseball, because if you make the play, you're supposed to make the play. And if you don't make it, then you're wearing the horns.
And the irony of it, Batiste was just inserted into the game for defense at the start of the inning. 3-3 the score in the 9th. First and second with 2 outs. The 2-2 to Gant is low and in. Tim, would this falling off the mound as he does with virtually every pitch contribute to the control problems, or does that happen after the pitch where it really doesn't have any kind of effect?
I think it probably contributes to it, but that's his style, and as Jim Fregosi says, he lives and dies with it. 43 saves on the year.
The runners will get the jump now with a 3-2 pitch, and with that in mind, Williams, when spinning towards second, to keep the pinch runner Tarasco close. Jim Fregosi says Mitch Williams doesn't have ulcers, but he's a carrier. His payoff pitch, he struck him out. Breaking ball out of the strike zone. Gant whiffs to end the inning. But the Braves get the tying run. We go to the bottom of the ninth. 3-3 the score.
What tire do you trust in the wet? A tire that removes over 2 gallons of water per second from under the tread. The all-season MX4. Another engineering splash from Michelin. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
This place. It's the new Burger King Everyday Value Menu with big Flame World burgers for only 99 cents.
I can't do it myself for 99 cents.
Your favorite Burger King foods at new lower everyday prices, like the Croissant Combo served hot and fresh for $1.99. Check your Burger King Everyday Value Menu and be sure to try the delicious Flame Broiled Whopper Combo for $2.99.
That's great news for my pocketbook.
Value every day. Have it your way.
You're gonna want to come back every day.
Some credit cards charge fat interest rates, but not Discover Card. With Smart Rate, the more you use your Discover Card for purchases, the lower your interest rate can be. Now as low as 14.9%. It pays to discover.
At the Mutual of Omaha Companies, we understand that change is a natural part of life. So it's only natural that as your family changes, the way you protect them should too. Mutual of Omaha. Life insurance to protect your changing world.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, there's an X. Killing those grungy fungi before they get cracking and burning. Go get that can now, or else don't blame Desonex.
Friends, we remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Changes for the Braves. Tony Tarasco, who came on the pinch run, remains in the game in left field. Tarasco now in left. Rafael Belliard stays in the game. He's at second base. Greg Olson enters the ball game as the new catcher, and the new pitcher is Greg McMichael, who has become the closer for Atlanta.
19 saves in 21 opportunities. It is not often at the first half of the year a team has one short reliever, and the second half another short reliever, and a team wins 104 games. They had Mike Stanton at the beginning of the year and McMichael in the second half of the year. Changeup goes away from left-handers and unusually away from right-handers.
Kevin Stalker pulls one down the line, foul by a few feet. Racing to the top step of the Philadelphia dugout to get a peek at that ball that was just foul. And Stalker has the bat back. He's 0 for 2, having been intentionally walked his first time up. Jim Eisenreich is on deck waiting to hit for the first time tonight, and then Lenny Dykstra. .3-3 the score in the bottom of the ninth. It's been a back and forth game one of the National League Championship Series. Phillies have led twice and have blown 2 leads. And the Braves had a 2-1 lead that they squandered. Pendleton way off the line at third for Stockard. Even though in the outfield they play him right on the line. Tarasco, you can see Pendleton off the line, but Tarasco's on the line and left.
I think the Atlanta Braves outfield overshifts possibly more than any other outfield in the National League, and it's primarily because of Otis Nixon in center field. You can afford that overshift if your center fielder is as fast as Nixon.
That's pulled right down to the first baseman McGriff, who stayed down with it. 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. If you're just tuning in, where have you been? You've missed a lot. Philadelphia scored in the first inning. Dykstra doubled and Kruk knocked him in. Steve Avery doubled and scored on a Nixon double to make it 1-1 in the 3rd inning. A sacrifice fly by David Justice brought in Ron Gant to make it 2-1 Atlanta. Incaviglia's home run in the 4th tied it. Then the Phillies took the lead in the 6th on a wild pitch by Steve Avery, and the ground out by Nixon brought in Bill Pacoda with the tying run in the top of the 9th. Now it's the bottom of the 9th, still 3-3. Jim Eisenreich, the hitter. He hit .318 during the regular season as part of the right field platoon with Wes Chamberlain. Nice play by McMichael. A leaping stab of the one hopper, and Eisenreich is the 2nd out of the 9th.
Fine play by McMichael. First postseason appearance, and very calm, cool, collected. Fine play. What a story. His number in spring training, the number that all players hate, number 60. And he made the club. He impressed Leo Mazzoni and Bobby Cox so much that he broke from spring training with the club, but nobody, including Greg, had any idea that he would be the team's #1 stopper at the end of the season.
Dykstra bounced one foul. As Bobby Cox said to us recently, if we didn't take McMichael north with the big club, the players would have killed us. He was that impressive in spring training. And it was released in '91 by the Cleveland Indians. They're trying to keep it a 3-3 game and force extra innings. The 0-1 to Dykstra, drifts outside. When he doubled and scored in the 1st, he walked his last time up. As advertised, the leadoff men have been a big part of the story. Nixon and Dykstra. McGriff guarding the line, and that's why they do it. That would have been an extra base hit, but he snared the solid hopper, and that ends the inning. The Phillies go in order in the 9th. We go to extra innings in game 1, tied at 3.
You're looking sharp. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are.
Only Gillette Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face. A shave this close, this safe was never this easy. Sensor, together with Gillette shaving gel, with advanced lubricants for an incredibly smooth shave.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
This simple outside says inside you'll find a lasting commitment to performance. The Intel 486DX2 processor. Power for today's hottest software. And the Intel Pentium processor. For the next generation of compatible power. That's Intel, the computer inside.
Having a real estate license doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to sell real estate. You have to understand people.
There isn't anything any school could teach you to make you care about people. That's got to come from the heart.
Century 21, rated most knowledgeable in real estate.
What's the difference between Diet Dr. Pepper and regular Dr. Pepper? Can't see the difference, can't hear it. The amazing thing is you probably can't taste the difference either. Discover what millions already have, the great taste of Diet Dr. Pepper.
He got a new job only to discover that it wasn't what they promised, and later they let him go. He sued. Can you do that? Find out on Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
Okay, Sunday, you've got the Cowboys and the Colts.
A very interesting matchup.
Have you seen Emmett Smith?
He's putting the ball in the end zone.
Honey, how about some more dip?
Sure.
Here's the deal. Sunday, you've got the Cowboys and the Colts, the Giants, Redskins, or the Bears and the Eagles on CBS. We're big fans.
Have you told them yet?
Of course not, dear.
We're big fans.
Coming up later, following your late local news, it's The Late Show with David Letterman. Dave will have Candace Bergen, John Mendoza, and Chicago Cubs pitcher Turk Wendell as his guest. That's tonight. Following the game and your late local news. Lenny Dykstra on tape, upset after the solid ground ball that ended the ninth, and his tirade lasted all the way out to his position in center field. That's in the direction of Dykstra. Thompson takes charge in left center. One pitch and one out. McGriff out in the pop-up in shallow left. He's now 1 for 5. It is Mitch Williams on the mound. He came on last inning and squandered the save opportunity. The big error by Batiste. David Justice, the batter, 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly back in the 4th. Was an unearned run charged to Williams in the 9th.
You notice that swing by Justice. Of all the left-handed batters for both clubs hitting against left-handed pitching, Justice is the best. As a matter of fact, for his career, he's 34 points better against left-handers. Those are 2 quality swings right there on 2 nasty pitches by Mitch Williams, who has thrown 3 strikes in a row in this inning after throwing 5 balls in a row to open the 9th. Well, that is a nasty slider right there.
And another strike thrown by Williams. Justice fouled it off. Barry Bonds said recently he were voting for the National League Most Valuable Player, and he could not vote for himself. He would vote for David Justice. Well struck, but right into the glove of Stucker. Well, we kept Doug Drabeck up a little bit later than we expected to. Here's what he had to say about Pendleton.
Terry Pendleton. He's an excellent situational hitter. He'll look for certain pitches in different situations, and it's important to tie him up. You don't want him to get his arms extended.
Pendleton has had a quiet night, 0 for 4 tonight. He hasn't had it out of the infield. Mitch Williams has pitched 2 innings only twice this year. 1 more out and he will have completed his 2nd inning tonight. We're in the 10th. The Braves and Phillies tied at 3 in game 1 of the league championship series.
Terry Pendleton 3 for 13 lifetime against Mitch Williams, but he has 2 home runs. So of those 3 hits, 2 dingers, 1 a game winner in Atlanta last year.
The 0-2. Well hit toward the gap in right center and in. Cut off by Dykstra, and that will stop Pendleton after a long turnaround first with a 2-out single.
And that's why you play deep in a situation like that. You guard the line to keep balls from going down the line for extra base hits, and you play extra deep, about 5 feet deeper than you normally would, and that allows Dykstra to get to this ball in right center field and cut it off.
That's the first hit given up by Williams. They scored the unearned run against him last inning without benefit of a hit. And here's Greg Olson up for the first time. He hit .225 during the regular season. Fastball a little bit up and in. 1-0 on Olson. And all of a sudden it is extremely quiet here at the vet.
There's a jazz station here in town that has a show on it. It's a Temple University jazz station. The show is called Turn on the Quiet. And I think that's what the Braves did in the 9th inning when they scored. They turned on the quiet here at Veterans Stadium.
What kind of a show is that? Just they don't.
It's a jazz show.
Oh, very quiet.
Very quiet. Soft jazz.
I thought maybe they were just on and really didn't say anything. But then you wouldn't really be sure that you were getting the station.
I think I've turned on your quiet. Your voice has gone down about 3 octaves.
Well, I don't want to disturb any of the people sitting down below. It's getting a little bit late. 1-2 the count. We'll be here tomorrow night in full volume, 8 o'clock Eastern time. First pitch at 8:12. Maddox and Green, the pitching matchup. The 1-2 to Olsen. Cue shot dribbled toward the Phillies dugout.
I think that was a sponge that Terry Pendleton was wearing on his right hand with which to hit. And obviously you don't need that sponge to run, but a lot of guys get jammed at the base of their right thumb and they wear a sponge. Obviously he's taking it off. Used to be that guys would get on base and they'd pick up dirt in both hands, and the reason that they would do it is when they slide, they didn't want to open their fingers and subject their fingers to an infielder possibly stepping on them.
That's outside, and Olsen has worked the count full, and now with 2 outs. Pendleton will get the jump. And perhaps a chance to score on a hit. Buck moves a step or 2 behind Pendleton. He runs, and it's a base hit down the line. Pendleton around second. Thompson fields it on the warning track. Pendleton held at third. Olsen has a double.
So Larry Boa, the third base coach for the Phillies, take a chance in the 8th inning. Watch this play by Milt Thompson. Watch the backhanded stop that he makes. You take a chance fielding a ball like that, but Thompson realizing that if he allows it to hit the wall, then Williams sends the runner, and Pendleton probably scores. That is a fine defensive play by Milt Thompson, catching the ball before it hits the wall. Jimmy Williams waiting until the last minute to hold Pendleton, and that's when Terry looked toward left field to see that Thompson had made the play.
Now the rookie, Tony Tarasco. Last year it was Francisco Cabrera who was the unlikely playoff hero in Game 7 of the championship series against Pittsburgh. And Tarasco was certainly an unlikely candidate to be in the spotlight when this ball game began. He spent most of the year at AAA Richmond. Only batted 6 times against left-handed pitchers as a major leaguer this year, went 3 for 6. Pendleton at third, Olsen at second. 3-3 the score with 2 outs in the top of the 10th. The 0-2 pitch, up and in. Williams retired the first 2 batters in this inning, but as is so often the case with Wild Thing, he has managed to make it interesting, much more interesting than Jim Fregosi would like. He struck him out. And the Braves leave 2 in scoring position in the 10th. On to the bottom of the 10th. 3-3 the score.
Finally, there's a TV that proves technology can make our lives easier. A Magnavox TV with a precise color picture, smart windows which preview other channels, and the unique smart sound feature which ensures your volume will stay at normal levels no matter what comes on. Magnavox is so smart, I didn't even have to show up for this commercial. Commercial. How'd I do?
Great. You were great.
The innovative TVs from Magnavox. Smart, very smart.
I'm a nurse, and I'm a nurse first, and I'm an Aetna employee second. The care is first. You know, is that patient being handled appropriately? I would hope that we would all care about patients the way we would ourselves or our own family members. And that's the way I see it, that, you know.
That's my job.
Want a taste you can't resist? There's no bag chip you can pop like this. Chips and bags got busted pieces. Brings you down with all their greases. The Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop. You got the stack, you got the bunch. For a whole lot of taste of the Pringles crunch. You got the duck-bill lizard too. Only Pringles rings taste like this to you. The Pringles can't stop. Pop, the Pringles can't stop. So can those bags of fresh whole chips. Nothing like Pringles crush your lips. Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop.
This is a credit card, so it's gold. Yahoo! I mean, no card is more accepted on the planet, but it doesn't make you some kind of celebrity. Actually, maybe it could. I mean, with Gold MasterCard's new Master Guest service, you can get free personal vacation planning assistance. The celebrities always have personal assistants. Master Guest can even save you up to 30% on great vacation packages. And celebrities are always getting special deals, so I guess Gold MasterCard could make you a celebrity. See you in the tabloids. Gold MasterCard, it's more than a gold card, it's smart money.
Atlanta was 7-6 during the regular season in extra innings. Philadelphia was 11-7. Those 11 extra inning wins, most in the majors. But in this matchup between these two teams, does extra innings favor one side or the other?
Oh, I think so. I think it favors the Atlanta Braves, even though the Phillies are playing at home. That's why it's important for the Phillies to get to the Braves pitching as soon as they can, because the longer this game goes on, the more it favors the Atlanta Braves because they have stronger bullpen.
Mariano Duncan leads off for the Phillies. He was 1 for 4 tonight over the first 9 innings with a first inning single. Kruk is on deck. Tim Batiste scheduled to bat third here in the 10th. Michael has missed with his first 2 pitches here in the 10th. And that's a strike. McMichael converted his first 15 save opportunities as a major leaguer. Then squandered 2 in a row, went through a brief downslide, but Bobby Cox thought he returned to form prior to the end of the regular season.
Those 2 games he squandered, the 17th and 18th of September, to the New York Mets. And the Braves lost that one game, the game that we did, as a matter of fact, Sean, against the Mets. They had a 2-run lead. Greg Maddux sailing along in the 9th inning.
In the hole, tough play. Great play by Pendleton for the first out of the inning. He had a long way to go to his left, and it was a tricky hop, and he made it look easy.
Looked like Terry caught the ball behind him. You could see him kind of moving toward the left, to his left. He was guarding the line, but those first couple of steps he was kind of bouncing to the left. Look at that little bounce right there, and that allows him to catch the ball on the short hop behind him and make a terrific play.
Now, very interesting defense with Kruk up there. Pendleton way off the line. The infield is shifted around to play Kruk as a dead pull hitter. Yet the outfield, as you can see in the distance, is swung way around the opposite field. He was trying to pull that one.
Pull on the ground and shading to the left side in the outfield. That's the book on John Kruk. There's a page out of that book right there.
The 1-1. Deep drive to right. Way back and off the wall. Justice gets it in quickly. Kruk is safe with a double. Kruk hammered a line drive at top spin that brought it down very quickly off the wall. You can't hit it much harder than he did. And he had to scurry to get in a second with as sharply as that ball was struck.
Fine play by David Justice to retrieve it, but you said the outfield was shaded around toward the left. Justice was staying home and right, playing more or less in the position. John Kruk with a 1-out double here in the 10th. like a plane on a carrier then.
You can see on the first replay how quickly the ball came down when he hit it. It certainly looked to have home run height, but had so much topspin on it that by the time it hit the wall, it was almost to the base of the wall. Winning run at second. Kim Batiste with a chance to redeem himself. He made the error in the ninth that led to the unearned run. The Braves scored to force extra innings. Ball one outside. First base is open. But Darren Daulton is on deck. He chased a pitch that might have been outside, pulled it foul into the Braves dugout. 1-1 on Batiste, who hit .282 during the regular season with 5 homers and 29 runs batted in. Again, it's Stanton the lefty, Wohlers the right-hander in the Atlanta bullpen. A pop-up, straight back, and no room for Olsen. 1-2 the count. McMichael had retired all 4 batters he had faced before the Kruk double. Kruk is at second with 1 out in the 10th. In a 3-3 game, McMichael working to Batiste with a count of 1-2.
Batiste trying to make up for that error in the 9th inning that put the Phillies in this predicament. And with a base hit, he could do that.
Down the line, fair ball into the left field corner. Kruk around to score, and Kim Batiste goes from goat to hero in a matter of minutes. They wanted to run him out of town moments ago. Now they're going to carry him off the field. The Phillies take game 1 of the National League Championship Series in 10 innings, 4-3.
Kim Batiste giveth the Braves a chance in the 9th inning, and now he takes it away from him. Just over the bag. Pendleton tries to knock it down to keep it in play. And Kruk scores. The interesting thing, Kruk was holding at second base to make sure it got by Pendleton, because had Pendleton come up with the ball, the only play may have been on Kruk.
We'll be back in just a moment.
This place. It's the new Burger King Everyday Value Menu with Big Flame World Burgers for only.
The overthrow pass, Duncan at second base. Bill Pecota goes to third. He eventually scored. And here is the base hit that takes the load off the back.
Tim, he hadn't made an error since August 15th, the game against the New York Mets. He hadn't had an RBI since August 15th. The same game.
Wow.
Against the New York Mets. And the Chevrolet player of the game is Kim Batiste. Prior to that swing, he was the least likely guy to win the award, but he has, because he had the big hit. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in his name to the Special Olympics. Kim Batiste is standing by with Pat O'Brien. Patrick.
All right, then a happy player, and made some fans out up here crying. Let's see the ball. He got the ball back. What were your players, your teammates saying to you when you went up to bat?
They was all encouraging me real good. They was saying, hey, don't worry about what happened in fields behind you now. Just go out. It's your turn to hit this inning, so go out and make up for what you did, and take your time and be patient. All the guys was encouraging me and giving me a little tap on the butt, and that encouraged me a lot and made me feel real comfortable at the plate. like I said earlier, with a bunch of guys like that behind you, you can't let them down.
What happened down the air? A little tight maybe, or?
You know, I can't really say I want to blame it on the cold weather or the little tightness, but, you know, that was the situation. It's just that, you know, things happen like that. I got the ball. I think I maybe rushed it a little bit, and I didn't take my time, and I threw it away. So, you know, I mean, you know, you look at it sometimes, the things happen like that, but I could have definitely prevented it.
Doesn't matter now, does it?
Well, right now, I'm definitely going to put it behind me. Like my teammates are saying, it don't matter now.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Let's go back upstairs.
He turned on the quiet in the 9th. He turned on the noise in the 10th. The Late Show with David Letterman follows your late local news. Now for Tim McCarver and Pat O'Brien, I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The final score in 10 innings, Philadelphia 4 and Atlanta 3. You've been watching Major League Baseball on CBS Sports, home of the 1993 World Series. Good night, everyone.
Good morning, Wendy's. Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich. You wanted that?
Hi, Gladys.
Your phone's been ringing off the hook.
What's this?
Monterey Ranch. Monterey Ranch.